Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Nope. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, we're good. Yeah.
I literally
All
just
right.
said this too.
Right? Yeah, I know, right? Hello, everybody. This is Old for Gold. We are Irrational Radio. We are here with Sir Took, as played by Eric, Arlon, as played by Brett, and Jalol, as played by John, too.
You almost got there.
I almost
You
got it.
slain me, Kyron.
I did. I slain him. I
You've
slain
slain
him good.
Arlon.
Arlon.
It's
Arlon, but he rose like a phoenix into Arlen.
Right? Yes. You're stronger, better now as a character. Yes. So these guys have made it quite far through this perilous journey here. If you guys remember, they at last big arc was recovering the Eye of Misha, and while doing that, Mr. Surtuk was not killed but killed.
At all.
At all.
Not even a little dead.
Right.
Despite reports to the contrary.
Yeah, and
Greatly exaggerated.
because he didn't die when he was supposed to die, he ended up getting marked by a night god named Lael, who is Lyle. Yeah, Lael.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna probably say
Good old Lyle.
It's fine. You can call her Lyle. It's
Lyle's a cute name
That'll
for a
work.
god.
Yeah, right. It's just who can
Cute
be scared of a Lyle,
yeah, right.
Such a human name.
right?
I think she want, cute,
Molotov.
not menacing and world dominating.
Right. Yeah. You won't have to use too many syllables. Too much energy with this name. But regardless, you were cursed to carry the Eye of Misha back to its resting place, which was the Sunken City of Quamar, which you guys found out after doing some research or after getting a master chess playing orc to do some research for you. And you discovered that the only remaining map was in Dam Thur, with the help of a very, very strange and secretive organization known as the All Watchers Cult, which is... Oops. Nope, didn't have that set up. Okay, which is the All Watchers Cult, which was a cult of orcs that were devoted to keeping the Night God locked up. They found that with Surtuk being cursed, it's evidence that she's breaking out. She's being freed, which is bad. And they decided to help him get the eye there so they could open up the tomb and destroy her then and there, as only one marked by the Night God can slay her. So they're planning to use Surtuk as a weapon of some variety to slay this god. They are on the way after stopping by the Museum of Dam Thur to pick up the map that they needed to navigate the ancient ruins of the cities. And they did so by talking to the museum curator. I thought that they were going to go all National Treasure on me, but no, they did not. They all that work that I did to help them plan a heist went unneeded.
We thought we were too. In fact.
Yeah. Until they were
Just
like,
suddenly
hey,
at the break,
wait a
we were
minute.
like, wait.
Yeah. So it actually worked out pretty well.
It's a museum.
Yeah.
We're gonna go find stuff.
We can just bring
they
it
want
back.
that.
Yeah, there's evidence of this museum that has helped before. So they got the arrangement set up and got the map from the museum and are now setting off into the desert. They have been traveling for about 3 days. And in those 3 days, they met up with a group of red orcs known as the Sunite Aswan clan, and led by a very, very angry orc who has some history with the leader of the All Watchers cult. He challenged you guys to bring Azran forward, and instead Jalal stepped up and ripped the man's face off, ripped the orc's face off. He took his face off. Yeah.
It's like Nick Cage
Right.
in that feature film
In that
Face Off.
feature film.
Your Phil.
I love that we explain our jokes. So
Killing a joke is way funnier than telling
right?
one, man.
Yeah. Standing over its bleeding corpse. So
You
you
ripped its
guys
face off.
because you killed the leader of this clan, the next leader had to slay you, Jalal, in order to regain honor to the clan. And you decided that was a horrible situation and wanted a way out. So you also discovered that this new clan's leader wasn't so keen on that, and she asked you to help slay a giant desert sandworm in order to free her from the burden of murdering you and to allow you guys passage through the land. You successfully murdered the big sandworm through punching. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys haven't seen how that happened, you should go back and watch that episode because it's pretty
on
incredible.
YouTube as of
It
today.
is on YouTube. And let me tell you, it was pretty incredible. So the sandworm lay dead. We are going to begin with you guys starting your journey through the night. The sandworm was a day thing. You guys fought the worm during the day in the hot of the sun. You rested for a while until the night fell and then traveled on your way. The Aswan clan has allowed you passage back through the land and back if you do come back from the Sunken City of Quamar. They will not attack you, but they won't aid you either. They're still not super happy about you ripping their last leader's face off. That's really not good for diplomatic relations.
Well, I was just trying to really break through to them.
You broke
I had
through something, but it wasn't.
Well, I
the
broke his
relations.
face off.
What he
but
did by that was put the current leader in power.
I thought she
Right.
was stronger.
Yes, yeah.
I helped the clan.
I'm sure.
That's what it was all about.
So, you guys are going to begin this session with undertaking a perilous journey. So, Surtuk, I understand that you've leveled and now are even
Yeah.
more useful.
I'm even, yes.
Yes.
Surtuk got a sweet ranger ability that is follow me, lets him take on 2 jobs when doing this. And he has a feature already that lets him get take a automatic 10+ on any checks he makes while doing that. So so he's quite proficient at leading folks through the wilderness now.
Quite proficient.
So he can he'll trailblaze and scout. Is that the other one?
Yes, Trailblaze Scout
I
and
feel like-
Quartermaster.
Blazing the trails is not good for the other adventurers behind you.
It's no,
It's
they
for
walk
running,
through it. It's like a snowplow. You like
Oh,
Go
okay, so
behind
you're
it.
just they're just walking through the ruined remains of
mhm.
Right.
trails
Yep.
after you've blazed them.
I mean, if you
hacking
blaze
out with a
sand, it's
machete
flat.
to open up a path. Generally, I think it's just I think desert scouting and trailblazing are more or less the same thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Let
absolutely.
But
me-
it's like more one's like let's not get attacked by stuff. The other one's like let's not walk into quicksand or
Right,
something.
and fall into a crevice, which there is a lot of in the Meeshan Desert. You guys begin your journey, and the first thing you notice is as you leave the Valley of the Giants, is that the sand begins to become sharp, as if parts of it are coalescing together in jagged rocks of black, almost blade-like structures. It's almost like a field of obsidian. You see that further on, these black shards get larger and larger, as if they're like enormous swords that have been jammed into the ground and then broke off at the hilt. They glitter in the moonlight, and it looks like a maze of these things. Azran puts his hand up, and the Hyatt lizards, the caravan of Hyatt lizards stop, and he says, "This is where the eastern Meeshan Desert begins. This is called the Fields of Blades. It is dangerous to go through, especially on foot."
Well, it appears to be aptly named. And he kind of looks out over the horizon.
There are things that live among these rocks as well that we must be wary of.
What
No more
are they?
sandworms, are they?
No, sandworms could not survive in this area. They would cut a sandworm into ribbons if it tried to emerge in this place. We're safe from sandworms here.
Well, good. Yeah.
Well, if we're safe from sandworms, but these other things are worse than
I
them.
believe that the death they inflict is worse. They're called razor cats. They are animals that feed off of these stones and grow spines and blades in a result.
Huh. They eat rocks.
This is just the worst place.
They're fiercely
Just the
territorial
absolute worst.
as well.
Why did I choose here to grow up, to live? I could have stayed in Arborea where the most dangerous thing is goldfinches and potatoes.
I mean, I'd never get much work as like a pathfinder and whatnot if it were that super easy to like,
That's true.
walk
Well,
around or whatever here through the desert. So I enjoy it.
all I do is heal the weak.
I mean,
There's
we had
weak
dire
people
squirrel.
there.
There's like a whole lot of people who get weak from traveling in like very dangerous conditions like this. So it kind of points around like we're going to need probably a fair amount of healing by the end of today.
That's
Or
good.
tonight or whatever.
I
After
know.
communing with my god, I've actually reached a breakthrough.
Oh, good.
I have
What
a
kind of
feeling that-
breakthrough?
Well, some techniques in my magical arts that I think will prove to be more beneficial the next time that it's required.
Azran shifts uncomfortably, and you see him pull a length of silk out of his pants, fold it again, and stuff it back in there. Well, it's going to be a long travel today.
I raised up out of the saddle a little bit, not to make
forgot about
bodily
that.
contact with the crotch silk I have
Leave no corner untouched, huh?
Oh,
hooked.
it's expensive to wash this kind of material, so
Does that not lead to some sort of infection?
No, it's actually
Pink
naturally antimicrobial. It's just dirty.
Well, I'm surprised there's no shit on it after you were hiding for so long from the Red Orcs last time.
I think you get a chuckle
You're
at
funny.
Harlan on that one.
We'll see how funny you are after 2 days through the field of blades.
I don't want to be funny. I just want to be okay,
To Quamar.
two
He
of
puts his
the-
arms up in the air.
Two of the
Lost.
guides come up, and Azran gives them each a small pouch of gold, and they turn around and go back to the back towards the west.
Well, those two weren't really that useful, though. Like, I don't think you paid him. Well, I guess you paid him too much, as in anything above 0 would have been too much.
They did their job.
But to sit here and pretend to look menacing while we got attacked by red orcs,
Well, they were
They
more of...
could have participated in some other money-making activity during these days we've been out.
Listen, I had a feeling that maybe my old clan would make contact with us. Those were, how do I say, fodder, in case we needed something or someone to bargain with.
Sort of nods like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
kind of fucked up. It's all right.
That's how
Were
the
they
desert
aware
works.
that they were signing up for possibly a death pact?
Well, I
I'm-
don't think you usually tell people about that.
Oh, I made
but-
sure I stressed the dangers of our journey.
Oh. Wow, it's impressive
Seems
that you
like
got that many
maybe-
to sign up.
I wasn't
You-
specific.
Mm.
They're probably dead to red orcs anyway. I don't think they're going to keep their promise.
That
No
is-
offense.
The Red Orc.
That is a little
Yeah, no
racist. I feel-
Absolutely no offense.
I'm a little uncomfortable by that.
Well, I'm saying like the ones that we just got in a tussle with like yesterday.
That was
That's
literally
what-
my family. They
Yeah,
abandoned
well,
me. I'm
it
literally
seems like
related to those orcs.
yeah. Well, I think that the new chieftain is a great fit, and I'm really happy with her progress so far as the leader of your village.
We should continue into the field.
I'm really just trying to stall because I do not want to walk through the field of blades.
He starts his giant lizard and he says, Sertuk,
What?
do you know anything about the Razor Cats?
Um,
Go
An
ahead.
80s band.
we'll
Spout lore.
see. Yeah. Let me see.
Oh, I should.
Is that a... Oh boy, is that one of those intelligence checks done?
Yes, it is.
It's not good. Oh,
No,
whatever.
probably
I
not.
should have. I forget that I
Yeah,
should
real
actually be
dice.
rolling dice, but I did not. So,
And what did you get?
One sec. A4.
A4. Okay. So no.
Solid 4.
No, you have not heard of these things.
Yeah, they're like, well, like a half blade, well, razor really, and half cat, right?
Right.
And he looks over.
I don't want to be the guy that's like, hey, I know he failed his perception check. Can I make a perception check? But like knowing things is
It's
the
kind of
goal
your thing.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. You can try your luck.
a 7 plus 2, so a 9.
9.
I'm not good at knowing things.
So yes, they're kind of like feline rock golems in that they feed off of the mineral itself and that's what they eat. But warm-blooded animals, or actually like flesh animals, are part of their reproductive cycle. They lay their eggs in the bodies as a sort of incubator of sorts. And so this is why they attack things. And their fiercely territorial is to bring the bodies in to use as incubators.
It's funny that they call them cats because they lay eggs. And cats are mammals, but
When you see
yeah,
them,
so-
you'll see why they call them that.
raise a cat. Oh, because I'm assuming that they appear like a cat.
Yes, exactly.
I hit him.
Yes, you may.
All right, then. That's all I need to know.
They're not an
Carry on.
endangered species or anything.
Endangered species. That's what I put things in, right? In danger?
Right. Yes. So I guess they are.
But
an
not yet.
endangered
Yeah, they
species.
will be.
So then everything in danger species.
in danger of getting punched right in the mouth.
You're really picking up what I do best.
So you guys begin your travel into the field of blades, and it's slow going. He leads you in a twisting and turning path through shards of obsidian glass that are 10, 20 feet tall and end on a edge like a razor. If you went running and hit one of these on that edge, there's a good chance you would be split in half. And so it is slow going, especially because much of the ground is littered with small shards of these stones, which cut into the Hyatt lizard's feet, which makes them unhappy and slow. In fact, one of the Hyatt lizards behind you guys, one of the random hirees, falls into a crevice made by two of these shards overlapping and blocking the sand from filling in below. He falls, and there is a scream as the Hyatt lizard is pierced by a very long, jagged piece of this material. Looking down into the crevice, you see that he has also been pierced, as if fell into a punji pit trap. But it is a natural forming phenomenon in this place.
Archer all
Are you
over it.
saving them?
Huh?
I think Arnold's going to make his way there to
Okay.
try and like see if there's any saving them.
Yeah, so sorry, we lost the whole lizard.
Yeah, one of the lizards was being ridden by two of the random hires that you guys had.
Oh, I
that-
thought
that
we had
Azran.
like 2. It was like 4 or 5 across all of us. I thought. So I
No,
was
it's,
worried. I
it's
guess,
enough
yeah.
for each person, or like 2
Okay.
people to ride on each one. So I think that does
Okay.
come to something like 6 lizards in total. But you are able to pull the second man out of the naturally formed crevice. He is injured. There is a piece of glass sticking out of his thigh that's going all the way through. He is kind of moaning and holding his leg and rocking back and forth as blood begins to pool on the sand.
Arlen grabs one of the things of wraps or whatever, and hold up, let me take care of this. How many uses is the bandage? Does anybody know?
5, I believe.
Thank you. And he's going to use 1 use of the bandage on him.
Okay.
I don't have the book up, so I don't know how much that
He's still
actually
in the
heals.
hole, or is he able to get out of the hole?
One of
Yeah,
them
no,
is. One has
The other's
been.
dead.
What was that?
The other's dead.
Yes.
Okay.
And the
Is
lizard.
the lizard dead?
Yep.
Okay.
This whole campaign is just like how to brutalize Hyatt. It's like poor
Right.
fucking Hyatt
Yeah.
lizards.
I mean, they are the beast of burden
There's
in
so
this
many
place.
of them, right? It's like
That doesn't make me
That
feel
kills some.
better.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, I don't care now. What? No.
Last session, and watching her get tortured to death.
He like is holding his leg and oh God, thank you very much. He nods.
What I'm
at
here
you,
for.
Arlen.
Hopefully, hopefully that heals up nicely.
I hope so too. May I ride with you on your lizard?
Well, you have nowhere else to ride. I'm not going to make you walk on this.
He climbs aboard. You guys travel for a few more miles through the field of blades before the sun begins to rise. You guys make camp in a small, flat area where a particularly large one of these, maybe 50 feet tall and 20 feet wide, has created some sort of natural indentation in the sand as the wind has built up sand in one face and left the other face bare. Azran circles up and you guys make camp. Looking out over the field, you guys see that you're about halfway through. It's going to be about one more day and you'll be all the way through. Azran sits down next to you guys and says, well, it's been a reasonable success, I'd say, so far.
Yeah,
None
we've
of
had.
us are dead.
no problem.
One of them are dead, but we're still, what, 5 people strong?
Yes, and we have plenty of supplies and food.
Bring any alcohol, Brad?
No, I did not. Alcohol is a terrible thing to bring into the desert.
You're telling me. When we went to Pocket's Folly, this man here got poisoned by one of those I don't remember what they're called.
Duskins.
Yes, those. It's funny that you knew that. He was poisoned by one of those, and he decided he would just drink. That he would just get drunk. It actually made it worse.
Yeah, that makes it much worse.
Well, I would have loved to have been told that prior. I would have still drank,
I
but at
do
least I would.
recall maybe telling you that we didn't need alcohol for the trip.
Yeah, and I remember
Yes,
telling you that it was very important to me, and you have your religious beliefs, and I have my religious beliefs.
I'm not going to equate my religious beliefs to your alcoholism.
I wouldn't call it alcoholism. I'd call it staunch respect of the spirits.
Dependence on alcoholic beverages. Okay.
Well, I mean, you worship spirits. We worship spirits. It's
Azran
about the
says,
same.
silence. You hear off in the distance what sounds like somebody wrapping together 2 pieces of glass very hard. Like ting, 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 ting.
Those are the laser rats. That is not what I meant to say.
No,
We
you were close.
These are bats too.
Laser rats.
Razor cats.
It's like knife dogs or
Arlon.
something.
Um,
Arlon is a bat expert.
you guys see that Azran starts piling more wood onto the fire, and it grows slightly. And you see among the crevices in some of the rocks off in the distance a bunch of eyes gleaming green as if emeralds are catching the light and reflecting it back to you. It says, they're watching us.
Are they like a go for easy prey sort of species, or are they like fight whatever the fuck they can sort of species?
It depends on how close we are into their territory. The closer
And
we
we're
are,
very-
I think so too. The closer we are to their dead, the more they'll attack us.
Are they naturally afraid of anything?
Yes. Light for one, and very loud noise for 2.
Well, I can help you with half of that, and he's going to cast light in his hand.
Okay.
And Jalal is going to start a war cry like like the orc chiefess did.
Okay.
He's gonna.
I think that was about it.
Yep,
yeah.
yep, that was about it. Arlen, as your light expands, you guys see
Oh,
that.
hold on, I did not roll a
Oh,
complete
yes,
success.
yes.
I only rolled an 8.
Okay.
So I do have to choose one of these things.
Yes.
I don't like any of them.
Yes,
To be
that's the
honest.
point.
You know? Yeah, what? This wouldn't be a game about fighting creatures if we didn't create unwelcome attention, huh? He's gonna create a very bright light
Okay.
that attracts unwanted attention to myself.
Okay. So, this thing is very bright. It is brighter than the moon, and it.
Fun.
Well, it's not. It's nighttime right now. But it
Still
is.
night.
Yeah, it's still night. You guys are traveling through the night. Oh well, yeah. I guess it's like almost dawn. It's becoming dawn. But this thing is as bright as the sun, and you see that like maybe 40 feet back beyond the shadows that you saw, there is a whole maybe 50 of these things. They're about the size of a normal house cat, but all their features are jagged and pointed, and they walk with almost a kind of a smooth stiffness, if that makes any sense. It's jerky, but they move like a cat, almost like a machine cat. As they scamper
Those are
backwards
laser
from the
cats.
light, their eyes also glimmer very brightly in the false light that you've created. But you see above there is an enormous winged shape that starts circling.
And
I didn't see that one up there. What is
The fuck?
that?
is that the laser bat he was talking about?
Azran looks up and kind of squints and says, "I'm not sure.
Oh.
It's too high up there."
Can I
Seems
make a
like-
roll to see if I can see it? Like discern realities.
Sure, go ahead. Discern realities. Yeah.
Arlon, what do your old ass see?
Well, I see a lot of things because I can't fail a roll.
Apparently.
What is it? Wisdom? Yeah, 9. So I gotta ask you one question.
Okay.
Uno Pregunta. Where are the questions? It said they're below. It says above, but they're actually below.
But I actually believe
As
that
above,
makes sense.
below, you know.
Yeah.
What should I be on the lookout for?
That
That's probably the best question for it.
yes, a Galdor rock, a
That's a
giant
Galdor rock.
giant eagle from the Galdor Mountains.
The giant eagle from the Galdor Mountains.
Yes. They
I was
usually don't.
about to be like, rocks don't fly, but
They usually don't.
Well, this
fly
one's
this
about
far
to fall.
east.
It looks like.
But they sometimes do in search of easy prey or food. As the light kind of expands a little bit, it swoops a little lower and makes a and all the razor cats run off in a bunch of directions. As this thing is enormous, it is probably about 3 stories tall. Its wingspan is the size of a football field.
Oh, boy.
It swoops, and you feel the sand just rip by you in almost a whirlwind as this massive shape passes above you. Azran looks terrified. He says, "Maybe the light wasn't such a good idea."
I keep screaming at it.
I was working off of the information at hand.
well, I mean, we aren't dealing with like a huge crowd of laser cats anymore.
This
So
is true. Okay, we need to find shelters. Find somewhere where the stones make some kind of cover. He
Are you telling me we can't fight this thing? As he's packing his stuff up and getting ready to go.
it's probably big enough that that's right. Fairly
Yeah.
obvious that that's his
Yeah,
reason.
we're definitely not Shadow of the Colossusing this thing.
you
I would like to punch one of these shards,
Okay.
like a bigger shard,
sure.
to like break it off the bottom, and I
Mhm.
want to try to throw this thing at it.
Go ahead. Yeah. Just make me a strength check, or
Okay.
I'll also allow you to use the bend bars lift gates thing to break the piece if you would like.
I can do both.
Yeah.
Bend bars, lift gates, 8.
Nice. All right. Yeah. You snap this thing off. That is not quite a total success though. So there is something that is wrong with what you do, correct?
Well, it's just that I choose 2.
Okay.
Is what
yeah.
it is.
Go ahead.
Or no, it wouldn't be
yeah.
choose 2, would it? Would it be choose
You're
1?
doing volley, right?
No, he's doing Benbar's lift gates to snap off this large
Oh.
object.
Okay, then yeah. I don't have your character.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Benbar's
So-
lift gates. I know that you
It's a
choose.
player one.
Yeah,
You
just choose 2.
things that can't
Right.
be used. So there's like 3 things, and then four things, and he chooses
Right.
which ones you can't impose on him as a penalty for what he's doing.
What he's doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a very long time. That's what I'll say. And then I guess nothing of value is damaged.
Okay. Yes. All right. So nothing of value damage. All right. So this thing it shatters and makes a sound like 100 mirrors breaking, and it is pretty large. So it takes you a little bit of time to heft it up. While he's doing that, you two, what are you doing?
I'm packing up my stuff and getting it on the lizard,
Okay.
helping
Yeah,
up
I
the
guess if we're
hirees
not-
onto the lizard.
Sure.
If we're not somewhere where there's cover, I kind of got the impression we were up against something with cover that when
Yes.
we
You
made
get.
camp.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. You do
Okay,
have.
well then
cover.
I'm not getting up on a lizard.
we
I'm just
wanna
trying to
just
help
get-
people get stuff into cover.
Okay.
Yeah, dragging
Cool.
stuff further into cover, finding a place to get
All right.
everything deeper in where it needs.
So
I
you-
would like to scoop up a few of the shards from
The
where he
ground.
broke the glass
Okay. Sure.
to see if they have any capabilities later on.
Okay. So you grab some of those, put in your pack. You guys are able to get your 2 lizards like in the shadow of this large piece of obsidian. Jalal, as you pick up your piece of obsidian, you go to heft it at this giant eagle, and it swoops down and lands on one of the Hyatt lizards that 2 of the hirees are packing. It fucks it up pretty bad. It's like an eagle going after a small Yorkshire puppy. Now would be a great time to throw your shard of
I would
black
like to.
glass. So go ahead and make me a volley.
Can I do it with strength?
I think so.
If
Yeah.
you're treating it like
It's
you would
not a
treat
volley,
javelin
if-
in D&D, I would
Right.
think.
right.
Okay, yeah. Here,
And,
let me
a
me get
volley's a dex-based attack, essentially.
my.
So
Oh,
book.
yeah, well then.
Yeah,
but so that's, I mean, yeah. If it's a strength check to do it, it's just a strength.
Yeah,
check
when you
instead
take
of a
aim and
volley.
shoot an enemy at range, roll. Yeah, so you are going to roll dex. If
Okay.
you want to
I guess
attack it
it's-
at
it's
close
'cause of
range,
Hefting
yeah.
it is why I was suggesting using strength instead. Though.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll let you do that. That's fine. We'll just use volley rules, but you can roll it as strength.
Because I'm actually throwing something as
Yes.
opposed to shooting something.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it. 12.
A 12. Well
Oh,
done.
shit.
All right. So on a plus 10, you have a clear
Rockabye.
shot. You deal your damage. So the damage of that is going to be your class damage.
All right. Do I include Merciless, which adds a D4 as well?
I'll let you do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Shit. You're feeding
So-
him that obsidian, dude.
D10 is 1, but I'm going to re-roll
Ooh.
with my human
Nice.
ability.
All right.
It's still a 1. Okay.
Well done.
But I'll get the D4.
Perfect.
So it's 4 damage.
Nice.
Wow,
altogether.
that's dog shit.
So you heft this thing and it falls a little short, but tips over on its end as if a big, almost like a cleaver, and slides against this giant eagle's like bottom part of its leg. It's very big. And you do draw a little bit of blood. It does a head shake with the Hyatt lizard in its head, and you see its spine shatter, and it throws the lizard at you.
Oh,
What are you gonna do?
defy danger.
Okay.
I'm going to try my best to leap out of the way.
Okay.
Actually,
Come on.
Eric, I like where your head's at. I want to punch through the lizard.
Okay. Go ahead. Defy danger with strength.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh, he's being sloped at,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting
Never
a
mind.
lizard thrown at me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, the eagle is throwing
Right.
a lizard at him.
5.
That's not good.
That is a failure.
That is a failure. Yes. So the Hyatt lizard collides with you. You are going to take some damage from this.
You punch it.
Steamroll.
You take 8 damage as the Hyatt Lizard slams into you, and you both roll across the desert and come to rest in cover in front of Jalal and Surtuk. Or in front of Arlen and Surtuk.
But
That
at
was
least I
almost
have
incredibly badass.
You look over at him and he just coughs up a little blood. All right,
bad-
well,
How bad was it?
uh,
Are you okay?
I'm all right. You know,
mean,
it's a little,
you-
a little something. It's not horrible.
I need like a status report. Is it worth me spending actual resources on healing you?
You need to just worry about yourself. All right, I'm all
The
right.
rock makes another screech and goes after another Hyatt Lizard
Oh,
as that.
Okay, we're getting.
Yep.
Surtuk would be dragging people
Yep,
in there.
yep,
He's not
yep.
standing around where
figured,
talking.
I figured,
I guess
yeah.
instead.
Um,
I thought we were
I think-
done
I
with
think
that part of the process.
Arlen is
I guess.
going to help Jalal up.
okay.
And as he grabs him by the hand and pulls him up, he's going to cast Cure Wounds on
No,
him.
don't.
Is it not that bad?
No, I have 4
I missed
armor,
the number.
so
Okay.
Oh.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. so
Okay.
it's
Just a
8
little
half.
bit
So
of
I took 4. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I coughed up blood, but there's no blood on.
No.
So you guys are
Mine,
able
then.
to get
You can help me up if you'd like.
3 of
Nope.
your Hyatt Lizards into cover. But another one is snatched up just as you guys are like getting it into a small overhang with these stone blades. And the rock pulls it out, shakes it to death, and then begins eating it in front of you guys. You've also lost a few of the guides. 2 of them ran off into the field of blades, and you saw one fall, like hit a blade, and another one disappeared. So, yeah, Azran is next to you, watching the rock eat, and he says, "Well, that's not great."
Well, is this thing afraid of anything?
I don't think so. Not anything that we could do to it. I think anything else is just going to annoy the shit out of it.
Is annoyed good or bad?
Probably bad.
All right, I'm not gonna hit it then.
You okay?
Do we have
So how many
everything
times you annoy it?
out of the way? Is it
Yes.
like stuff's not threatened anymore?
Nope.
Right. Well, we could. I mean, it's not gonna like dig through the rock or whatever, so we could probably just go to sleep now. Anyway, right?
Dawn rises.
We were about to make camp, so I'm sure he'll get bored eventually.
I
As-
can set up a sanctuary circle, and in case something comes, or if those cats come back, you
Good
could
call.
probably stay here though.
Azran hunkers down in the sand in this very small, it's maybe like 15 by 15 piece of cover here that you're sharing with 3 lizards and 4 other people. So it's pretty tight in here. And the Azran kind of hunkers down in the sand and puts his hat over his eyes and goes, "Yeah, this is just about how I expected this to go."
Right.
Well,
Next
it's a good
time we're
thing that
not
you
going to
said-
stop until we're fully encamped in a place what has cover and whatnot. Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's these rocks aren't like, they're not common here. I can't imagine we would run into another one.
No.
Isn't it like the whole terrain? That was the impression I was given, or I got. I guess I thought that like these are popping up all over the place or whatever.
No,
I thought
I
that
don't.
the
I guess
flying
I'm
things weren't
confused.
seen this far very
Yes.
often.
Oh, the
Yeah,
flying
not-
thing. I thought you were
not
talking about the
stone,
rocks.
not
I
the
was
rocks.
like,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, rock ROC, not
Rock
rock
with the-
ROCK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm sensing a theme here that every time you say something probably going to happen, it's generally happening. So I'm going to be on the lookout regardless because you seem to be. How do I put this lightly?
Well, he
Fucking
keeps
wrong a
jinxing.
lot.
I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
He keeps saying stuff. It's jinxing. Stop
Are you a
saying.
wizard or like
What is
like a
that?
warlock or
I think
sorcerer?
he's just cursed.
I have bad luck.
Yeah, I can really fucking tell. How did you
I'm gonna
manage to
say,
make it all
next
the way up
time
the
you-
chain?
Next time you're thinking something, they're like, oh, well, we probably won't have a problem with this. I probably won't get hemorrhoids from riding on this lizard for so long. Don't say it. Just leave it. Leave it in your brain.
Okay.
Just keep it inside.
Because I mean,
Might not
that
even be
maybe-
safe in there.
the last thing we need is for a sandstorm to hit while we're in this area.
Why do you do this? I feel like that's
I'm gonna test it out.
everybody
So
prepare for a sandstorm.
if I
Everybody.
say that we probably won't hit a sandstorm, right? That's what I have to do.
You should say we probably won't hit a valley full of beautiful women who want to seduce us. You should say something along those lines.
Okay.
Or, we might not
Well,
hit a
but,
valley
I
that's
mean-
all bars or all inns.
Somehow there'd be like some sort of like monkey's paw situation
Right.
where it would turn out to be like they're seducing us so they can kill and wear our skin or something. I don't know.
I
I
don't.
don't
Say
want that.
something like, "We certainly couldn't already be at Quamar."
Yes.
Mm.
Will that teleport us
That's a
there?
good one.
Looks
Try
around. No, we're still here. Damn
Wow, you're fucking useless, aren't you?
it. Go to sleep.
All right. Hey, you got any more of those like wraps, Arlen? Like,
Yeah,
think-
I can. Let me bandage you up.
I think it bruised a rib.
Would you like some tea?
I
can
would
brew up
Absolutely hate some tea.
some, then I'll make you some.
Perfect. Just what I wanted. He
He
slumps
starts
against
tea
the
on the fire, and then starts to bandage up the wall.
Law
That's
only
four
drinks tea. Oh, that's perfect.
So you guys spend the day in this shelter. The rock finishes its lizard meal and then flies off back towards the west. You wake up as the night falls and the air begins to cool. You get up, pack up what you can, pile onto some high lizards, and begin your journey out of the field of blades.
Jalal keeps ululating every once in a while to make sure that the laser kitties don't come by.
Right, making a big screech.
Right. I just want to keep doing it,
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's.
but it's accented. Like it's a strong verbiage to the ululation.
Oh yes, I can. I'm glad you're sparing us the full force of what you could do.
I would
I'm
wake
afraid
up
to
all of
ask
the
you
people in my
this.
home.
As Mar.
Azran.
That's right. Sorry, Azran.
Something in that tea.
But are there any people out here that, like your dear family, that may pay us a visit, or is it just these laser cats?
Oh, there's tons of things we could run into out here. It's a crazy desert, man.
I'm saying him making that whooping noise every
Oh,
30 seconds or so, is that
Wow.
going to attract something other than cats?
it's much more likely to attract. Or it's just as likely to attract something as to scare something away. So I don't know. Just let him do it.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm really
it's
starting to get
not
in the
like-
swing of it.
It's not like they're likely to be hanging out here in this really incredibly inhospitable part of the land if they're not here for like a particular reason already, right? Like
And
it's
that's my
pretty shitty
thought.
countryside.
There's not much here to claim. You can't
Right.
farm these lands.
No,
Can't mine them either.
not successfully.
You could punch them.
You have a lot of
You
experience in that, don't you?
Smugly just keeps ululating and nodding.
You guys exit the field of blades. As you come to the hard pack of the eastern Meeshan Desert, where the sand is made of dunes that are as hard as stone, you see off in the distance some kind of enormous tower floating maybe 300 feet off of the ground. It is hovering there. It's maybe 6 stories tall. There's a few spires built on top, going up higher and higher. There is a rope that is leading from the very bottom of the tower to the ground. You see that on the ground, in the hard pack, is what looks like to be some kind of pit that has been dug, and then rope stretched around the edges of the pit. You see several figures working around it as well. Azran puts his hand up and goes, "What the fuck is that?"
This can't be Quamar.
No.
Just one tower.
He looks at the map. We're still 90, 100 miles from Quamar.
90, 100 miles.
90 to 100 miles from Quamar.
Oh, sorry. I miss her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's probably not good news. Floating towers typically aren't good things, right?
Maybe. There are the wizards of Agira, however.
I mean, anything out here has to be bad. This is so
I'm really
confused.
glad you guys are all seeing this too. I was worried for a bit. Kind of just nods and like looks, you know, like back
we
off.
could
down
walk
from
up
the
and
tower.
try the diplomatic approach. We've never had a problem with that.
He asks
Well,
for
with
an
the tower
eyeglass and he looks through and he says,
With the people.
I don't. They look like critter folk.
Wait, there are. Oh, there's like folks there. Oh,
There's no critter folk that are followers of the Red Queen, is there?
I don't think so.
who's to say?
What's a critter folk?
They look like animals. They're
yes.
like anthropomorphic
There's at least
creatures.
3 rabbits down there.
Are they
Do you
adorable?
remember Redwall?
But they're
What
human
are
size.
those?
They're 6 feet tall.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a badger. They were so strong.
I like the otters. They were really like warriors. I bet an otter could punch a hole through a wall. You know.
I heard a badger could just step through it. You wouldn't need to punch anything. You just Kool-Aid man it right through them.
Yeah, but like an otter could punch a hole through the badger. I think my superhero is better than your
It's
superhero.
always weirded me out that like the mice and like foxes were like the same size. That's weird, right? I mean,
That's how it is in the
basically,
critter
you know.
That was the thought. You know, it's very strange that they live in this world where the larger creatures just either don't exist.
Everything's like the
Oh.
same size. Or yeah, or they've like scaled equivalently or some. It's
we have to
confusing.
cross by that tower to get there, unless we want to go out of our way. So, how about you?
What?
We
How?
we have to
What
go
do we have to do?
the plains that the tower is in, the hardback. It's pretty open. So, in order to get to Quamar, we either have to go across this portion in view of the tower. We don't have to get too close, but they'll definitely at least see us traveling. Or we could go take a longer route.
I mean, we can
How
like
many of
talk
them do
to
you
them.
figure there are?
It looks to me like it.
Here, let me see.
I only see 3.
Worst
Right.
case scenario, they attack us and they're outnumbered.
We can just like walk by. I don't think we have any like intense obligation to stop here, right? Like, I think they're
think
gonna
it would
assume
be-
that's some sort of confrontation if we like engage them in like idle chit chat out in the middle of the
Right.
desert.
I think it would behoove us to at least figure out what they are doing. If we pass by, what if they follow us? We may run into them later in a different type of scenario.
With the tower?
The people at the tower.
Right, but like, I mean, they're clearly inhabiting the tower, right?
I thought they were doing something at the base of it. like
Yeah,
messing with
the
it.
tower is floating too. Remember, it's
Oh, you're saying something about it's got a bunch of ropes, so I figured it was just hanging in the middle
no.
of the pit you were
There's
talking about
only
or something. I'm
one rope
confused, I guess.
connecting the base of the tower. It's acting like a zip line for people to climb back up into the tower, or like
Okay.
draw things back up into the tower or lower things into from the top of the tower. It's not tied down at all. It is a movable structure. It is
No,
a
I
vehicle.
figured it was hanging like in the middle of the pit, being
Oh.
supported by ropes.
No,
it's like
no,
a
no,
clearly
no.
magical.
Yeah, it's a clearly
like,
magical.
okay.
Yeah, it's like it's like I said, 6, 7 stories tall,
Gotcha.
floating in the air.
Um,
And the pit is again below underneath where the tower is floating, being worked on by 3 individuals.
I wanna- I want to quickly look at my arm.
They're
as well.
digging. It looks like they're digging or excavating something underneath the tower.
Yeah, I mean,
We may
honestly,
be
I
out
feel
here on the
like
same
it's-
kind of journey, the same sort of thing. there may be something they could teach us, or we can teach them. Or
We
help each
also
other.
could use some more supplies. We did lose quite a few in the eagle attack.
Right, but we also lost quite a few people who
Right.
need to consume them. Drugs.
That's true.
Says, I'm not sure that it makes sense to like force an encounter with folks who might think that we're here to take whatever it is that they have. And we could just walk like right on by. You know, it's a big desert. We've got 100 miles to. If we take like a 4-degree alteration of our path,
Right.
we're still going in a straight line and not even crossing near this thing, right?
Absolutely.
I
Should we put it to
No.
a vote?
super concerned. I guess if you guys are overly curious, we can. But
I want to take the spyglass from him.
Okay.
I want to look through.
Okay.
Do they have weapons?
No, they have shovels. But there does seem to be a set of stones set in a circle around the pit. They do seem to be magical. They're glinting slightly in the dark.
And is my arm glowing?
No, it is not.
Okay. I mean, they look adorable. If that helps. They don't have any weapons. They have shovels. I mean, that's kind of a weapon, but there's also some like magically bullshit going on around like the little rim as well. I don't think we need to go over there, but at the same time, I'm slightly morbidly curious.
I'm mostly
Right.
concerned about them following us, sending a team. There's more people in that tower.
then we have to kill them. You understand that that's like the only reasonable. Like they've seen us already, probably. Then at that point, so if we're really worried that like there's witnesses
just
or
would rather
whatever,
not
they're
be-
probably already witnesses.
I would rather not be surprised by it.
How about this?
I'd like to state our intentions and pass by, instead of having them be curious and come after us.
How
Create an
about I
altercation down
stay
the road.
here with the Hyatt lizards and these Hyres, and you three take one of the lizards and go find out what they're doing, and if they have any intention of following us or hindering our progress.
Maybe you should go over there and say, "Oh, I sure hope. I don't believe that anything will happen poorly on our journey right here at this point that I'm standing at, and then maybe a tornado will come down and sweep everybody up."
I feel like you're mocking me right now.
I am.
I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's like grade A mocking if I've
Take
ever heard it.
some money just in case they have any supplies that they're willing to sell us.
Okay. Well, what do the two of you think of that?
Certic shrugs. Says, I mean, sure. Yeah, if it's like it's probably worth a shot. See if we can round out our supplies. But if they're out here for any sort of like protracted expedition, I imagine they're got about as much as carried as much as they could and need what they have. But we'll see where they are.
You think one of the rabbits would let me pet their fur?
I would.
There's at least like a
maybe
reasonable
not.
chance of that.
Maybe not.
Well, I want to try my luck, if anything.
Their feet are supposed to be lucky, right?
Oh,
I mean,
maybe.
if it ends up in combat, we'll have a few of them.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
we can give
God.
them.
All right. So you guys all get onto a Hyatt
Yep.
lizard, and
Discussing lucky rabbit's feet.
as you
I-
guys
I lay
approach-
out my sweet crotch silk over the seat for us.
Oh, good. As you guys approach, maybe as you get closer and closer to the tower, there is a flare that looks like it's casted by magic, shot up into the air. As you approach, one of the rabbits steps up to the edge of the stones that are set in a circle. He is holding the shovel like a weapon. As you guys approach, he goes, "Yeah, what's up, Docs?"
Are you fucking kidding me, Kyron? Don't you even dare right now.
Solid.
It's rabbit season. No.
Hello.
Hi. We are traveling past and just wanted to state our intentions and see what your intentions were and try to pass through here without creating any sort of altercation. I know it's
It's, like,
dangerous
weird,
lands
right?
out here, and there's a lot of a lot at stake for probably both you and us.
He narrows his eyes and goes, that's suspicious.
Right? That's what I tried to tell him. I was like, if we just walk by, it'd be like way more normal than if we come over and be like, hey, how's it going? We're not suspicious. Like,
Can I pet your fur?
He looks at you and goes,
oh yeah.
I don't really know how to respond to that question.
Well, I'm not trying to be weird. I just,
Yes
I've
or
heard
no.
stories like my grandma always told me about, like you folk, and I'm really interested. And you seem quite fuzzy. I just wanted to ask very kindly.
Two more rabbits come out. One is wearing a hood and he's carrying a pick, and the other one is carrying another shovel, and it's a female, and she is like leather gambeson on. She goes, "What? Who are you people? Why are you here?"
We're just
My
like
name
our
is
fellow
Alan Cadeau.
expedition.
On an expedition east of here.
I see. East.
Just saw this spectacle, and I would be lying if I didn't tell you I wasn't interested as to what was going on.
Well,
But
what you've come across is the end result of a year and a half's long journey. It's been an amazing adventure. She turns to her companion, hasn't it, Bugs?
I assume you're from the Thunderwood.
Yes, that's where we began. Actually, in Goodberry. But our leader, the wizard who started this whole thing and who owns this tower, he's coming down. We sent up a flare. He's the one that's been protecting us out here.
Can I pet his fur?
Oh, he's not a rabbit.
What you? Oh my god! Has he pulled you all out of hats?
How many hats does this man have?
Bugs looks very upset. I don't like how you jokes right now, man. I don't like him.
Sorry. More seriously, do you have any spare supplies that we might be able to purchase?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys see that from the tower a platform is being lowered. It lowers all the way to the ground, and on the tower, or on the platform, you see that a old turtle carrying a staff slowly shuffles down from the platform and goes, "Oh, hello. My name is Dr. Basil Longtallow. Nice to meet you."
I don't want to pet him.
It's good to meet you, Mr. Basil.
It looks a little bit like Arlen's.
It's your treasure hunter. Is that I heard that right?
Well, I didn't say it, so I'm not sure where you heard it from.
I mean,
on an
expeditions in
expedition.
the desert really are
I'm
one
sorry.
sort of thing, basically.
I'm
Mostly, right?
clairvoyant too. I have to apologize for that as well.
Oh, look, just a little.
Just
Actually, traveling missionaries. is What I was going for, not mercenaries.
Our treasure hunting company's called Old for Gold. You can find us pretty close by.
That's very
Yeah.
clever. I like that name.
Right, it's like a play on words. Like we all came up with it together.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, and I see one of your party members is also very old.
He is, yes.
Well,
It's
I feel
accurate.
that's great that we've drawn attention to my age.
Well,
However,
let me
I
tell
don't think
you,
Sert's that
I
old.
think you're probably a young buck compared to me.
I'm judging by the sound of your voice, you've got to be like hundreds of years.
62 at least.
I'm not sure how
So,
turtle years work.
What are you doing here? Are you also seeking to chain Kothor back into his pit?
What?
That's what we're doing, correct?
Who? Sorry.
The blood.
Who's
soul.
getting chained?
Are you not
That
here
doesn't
because of
sound
that?
right.
No. We're
Isn't it
saving
like
the
a-
world here.
He
Wait,
points
we're also
weird,
saving the world.
small world that
What?
we're both trying to save.
I think it's a different.
Wait,
it's
wait.
a different god being chained into a different pit.
No, he was not a god. Are you? No. I do know nothing about the history of this place.
Well, let me roll and find out. You said Kolthor, right?
Yes.
Yes, Kothor Al-Mwat.
Yes, I rolled a 7, so whatever that
Like,
means.
Yes.
Go into his mental,
His mind
memory
palace.
palace.
He
Yeah,
was
mind
a
palace, that's it.
blood warlord that plagued the western plains of the Great Meeshan Empire before the falling of the Red Queen. He was finally defeated in battle and cut into 6 pieces that were then scattered across the empire. But his goblin necromancer second in command, named Squig's Body Touch, gathered the pieces together and resurrected him as a mummy lord, which terrorized the Meeshans for another year before he was finally imprisoned within a tomb by a cabal of powerful clerics known only as the Circle of Rakib. For what was thought to be eternity, but then Basil found a whole bunch of paperwork and read through it so methodically he discovered that they had mistranslated part of their own spell and that it was only going to hold him for 8,000 years. So he gathered together a group of adventurers to stop him.
You always got to watch the
Let's not-
syntax, you know?
Let's not glance over the fact this guy's name is Mr. Body Touch. I feel like that's he's really missed an opportunity with like some serious like R&B album, like Mr. Body Touch.
Oh, you only think you missed that. That's actually what is, he started out. in
Yeah, he got into
music
necromancy.
scene.
Underground names.
Yeah.
As you do,
As you
right?
I think we have one of his family members back at Old for Gold. One of the Body
Baby, I'm
Touch
Mr.
family.
Body Touch.
Oh, no.
Oh,
How you doing?
So
While he's
smiles
explaining this,
and says
I want to
that
slowly inch toward one of the rabbit people.
you get to the wall of stones and it's a solid barrier.
He's
Wait,
like,
wait.
he has his hand up on it, like,
The
Actually,
female
okay.
rabbit comes up and goes, "What are you doing?"
well, I was telling your friend that I've heard stories of your people, and apparently you have very fuzzy fur, and I wanted to touch it. Not in a weird way,
She
obviously.
looks at Bugs and says, "Do you mind if I let him pet me?" Bugs goes, "I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That sounds pretty weird."
It is pretty weird.
Jalal with just a thumbs up on the other side.
That's not a
She
no,
shrugs
right?
and says, "Okay." And she puts her, she steps over the stones and kind of goes, "Hi, I'm Lola."
Lola Bunny. Get out, dude. I'm done. I quit.
You already said the
Wow.
other guy's name's Bugs, so.
Oh, I missed that.
It's
Yeah.
only a
I
natural
can't
progression.
believe I missed that.
Bugs.
Right.
We're also traveling with a rogue. Do you know what his name is?
I don't want to know what it is.
Daffy.
It's
Daffy
Roger.
Oh, Roger Rabbit, you motherfucker.
Would you like to
gonna
pet?
say Peter,
You can
but
you
that's
can pet
less-
me right between the ears if you'd like.
Yeah. And he takes it.
He prepared this shit. That is so he could put on fucking rabbit ears.
Basil, did you pull all of these rabbits out of a hat?
Oh, no. I prefer rabbits over other races. You know how they are. With their
Ah,
quirks.
right.
He does finger quotes.
I can't stand
You know, being, not from the Thunderwood, I don't know much about all the different races that inhabit
well.
the Thunderwood.
Let me tell you.
I will hear about it another time.
My least favorite
did-
are the chipmunks.
They
hoard
sound
things.
terrible.
Rapists?
Sound
Yes.
horrible.
Always hoarding things.
I'm casually listening to him while petting Lola.
It's
So-
very soft fur.
I did, you said, I can't remember the name you said. Corthon?
Colthor.
Okay.
Kolthor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you say Kolthor, and that's impressive. That's very neat that you're here to put an end to that. Well, to stop it from happening. We are actually here with a similar goal. What is the timeline on what you're doing?
Oh, well, we're just about done. This was the very last day of our journey.
Have you ever heard of Lael?
Oh, yes. The Legend of Quamar. Yes, I have.
Yes. Well, we are searching for her so that
Oh,
we
well,
can
That's
fight her.
that's just a myth.
Well,
There's
Just
no
like,
actual
why-
city of Quamar.
Right, well, I mean, do we need to bother this fine, busy individual with all of our piddly problems.
Oh,
You
I
know,
think,
Would you like
you
to
know,
come up to the
these.
tower? I have tea and biscuits.
I think there's good to be had here. These people are doing a good thing. Surely we can tell them what we're up to out here, given the nature of their task.
They're very
Trust these
furry.
people.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
They're not even armed with weapons.
I mean, I just like there's a pretty important set of things which need to be completed, and like my sort of eternal soul depends upon it going properly.
So
So the
having
more
the extra
variables we
backup now
include,
that we've lost half of our caravan could be helpful, right?
I sort of feel like we didn't really ever need the extras anyway, right? And kind of looks around like, I mean, like you were saying, they was pretty much just there to sort of not be us what get eaten by things and whatnot, right?
And
Kinda
he
looking
leans
around.
in. Now we don't have many people to be eaten except for us.
There's still a couple.
Still a couple. It's also, we're talking about a god here. This is. I don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. Hell, Aslan over there doesn't even know what to expect.
Wait, did I hear you? I'm sorry, I'm an old turtle. You're doing what now?
It sounds like upon further consideration, I should speak with my party about this before I go into too much detail. Do you mind if maybe we speak privately for a moment, and then
Of course, we'll just finish up what we're doing here.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you very
mean,
much,
we're
Mr.
not
Beck.
like trying to stop you from saving the world or
I
whatever.
appreciate
definitely
that.
not.
Yes. Come on, Lola. You're needed for the ritual.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
What?
You have a good time
You
digging
know
now.
what? Never mind. Good luck with the world saving.
Y'all guys should really pet,
Yeah.
pet one of them. They're
All
amazing.
four of
They're like
them
very
go into
furry.
the pit, and you see that they've dug a deep hole that leads down into what looks like the facade of some ruins, and they go inside of that. So you guys are up on top of the pit. On the other, you still can't get in because of that shield, but you are now alone.
Do you
So-
think they're sacrificing that rabbit?
I sure hope not. They're so
Fur
cheery
like
about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it. Like that's a waste of like really nice, luscious fur. She's also very
I think
nice.
If you
too.
sacrifice it, you could still. Oh, anyway, I think that it could be beneficial to help them with their task, and then they help us with ours if we can work that kind of deal.
Right, but
We
we've
are
got
dealing
like
with
a
something we
secret
don't understand.
organization, like a cult, what's been like secretly trying to take care of this job for like centuries or whatever. Maybe we should not go around telling everybody their sacred duty when we've just met them out in the wilderness or whatever, right?
I just had a good feeling. I'm sorry.
I'm
Maybe I overstepped
concerned,
there.
I guess. And also, yeah, it's like my sort of thing. I'm uncomfortable that you're like, oh, well, by the way, he died and he's like, promised to this like evil death angel thing or whatever. Like, that's sort of like my thing to tell people if like I'm gonna, but I'd rather not. Like, most people know that I'm sort of like some sort of antichrist or whatever.
Well, yeah,
They look at you
it's like if I was walking around and I told people that Cert had like bed mites because he slept with that one like really strong orc woman.
There is
hold
an
on now.
enormous
I mean, there-
explosion behind you guys. A giant green pillar of energy crackling with purple electricity fires off into the sky, and the sky twists and changes color for a moment. You hear horrible hissing, and then no, as the pillar gets sucked back in, and you hear what sounds like a whooshing clap, and then silence. And we're gonna go take a break now. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
I hope all that fur's okay.
So this has been Old for Gold. We're going to do our little end thing at the end of the episode this time. So stay tuned. We have thank you for Andromino for helping with the
Madrino.
Oh my
with the
God.
break videos. I'm so bad. I'm bad with names. It's not personal. It's like I literally mispronounce my own name sometimes. I promise. But we have he helps us set up these some of these break videos, and we have a brand new commercial that I made yesterday. I got a new
Enjoy.
green screen, and it's magical. So, thank you guys, and we will be back.
So you did mention theater of the mind versus always having maps out, and that's another thing. Not every DM is either willing or able to do a full theater of the mind combat system, and not every player is going to be okay with that. Some people want to see the actual layout. They want to see the images. They want to see the map. They want to see the distance. They want it all, particularly plotted, which is not a bad thing. You do need to know beforehand whether your DM is going to be doing that or not.
As a DM, I rarely map unless it's combat, but frequently combat's just a grid so that everybody knows how far away they are from everything. Though for me, because it's just easier to keep everything straight, I think. As a player, I find it very difficult to, especially with the way combat and most of the abilities are structured in D&D, it's pretty hard to feel like I'm keeping track of exactly what all's happening and going on, and how close am I to this person in relation to this person, and stuff like that can matter pretty quickly sometimes in some, depending on your campaign. But there are ways to run combat that totally don't rely on those kind of specific distinctions. You can kind of just do the bands, range bands of combat or something that they've introduced into these other systems that take away the specific what square am I questions. And yeah, that's a big difference in play, and how the spells and abilities your characters have translate into what you can kind of do during the combat, or during outside of combat, stuff like that.
Welcome to Big Seeds General Store. We have the largest selection of fantasy-based items on this side of the Greater Dandaris River. Why don't we go inside and check out what I have for sale? Let's go. We are now inside Big Seeds General Store. Let's see what I have for sale. Well, this sure looks like a fine selection. We have bananas, onions, dragon eggs, pajama pants, occult statues, daggers, dangerous animals, socks, small figurines, real fake daggers, diplomas, drink koozies, hammers, potatoes. Well, that's just a small bit of our inventory. So you should do yourself a favor and come on down to Big Seeds General Store, where we will treat you like you want to be treated.
As a player, you also need to know what type of game you want to be in.
Yeah.
Whereas a DM is saying, this is the type of game I want to run, let me find players that fit this.
Right.
As a player, You need to know what type of game you want to be in. And I think, like, it goes back to what I was saying, inexperienced players won't exactly know the terminology. So basically the two sides of the spectrum is sandbox and railroad. And then everything in between, you know, there's a place for you. And I think that's one thing is maybe some inexperienced players wouldn't understand exactly what those mean. So basically, railroad, as you and I know, that's where the DM is going to tell you where to go in not so subtle terms.
Yeah.
Like whether they have, you know, an interesting character walks into the bar and walks up to you, hey, I have a job for you. It needs to be done now. Like, that's pretty much railroad. That's like, hey, here's a quest, go do it. Sandbox is no direction. DM's not going to give you direction. They're going to drop hooks at you. Subtle, sometimes blatant, but they're just going to drop a bunch of hooks. You're in a pond, they're going to throw hooks at you. You do what you want to do. You're in a tavern. They will describe the innkeeper. They'll describe some of the patrons. They'll describe, you know, the environment. They'll describe the band that's playing, the bard that's singing. Some, you know, people are walking in. It's this time of day. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? In a sandbox, I want to talk to this person at this table. I want to talk to the barkeep. I want to look at the board. I want to take part in the band. I want to get drunk. I want to go start a business. You don't have any given direction. There's anywhere you can go.
If you're playing a module, for example, that's probably going to be a little bit more of a railroaded campaign, just because of the necessity of, if you're going to stick to this, you know, structure of plot advancement that's in the book, everybody's got to kind of understand and agree that, like, yeah, when a hook comes up that's clearly pointing toward this main plot line, we're all going to kind of go toward that. And I think that happens in sandbox games after a point as well.
Oh, yeah.
You get to a point where the party has dictated something's interesting to them, and then the DMs, you know, backstopped that a little more and developed a couple more complications or conflicts that are centered around that aspect of the game. It's starting a business or whatever. You know, that can start to become one of those greater arcs. Like, you can have a larger overarching plot that guides the action and still have room for stuff where you can go off and do silly things in, you know, in the meantime, where maybe, you know, every single action isn't time dependent, so you've got some free time or downtime or whatever that lets you work more along those lines. And so, yeah, obviously these aren't like a binary one or the other thing.
If you're new, generally you would lean towards the railroad side. It gives you more direction. Because as a new player, you're not exactly sure what all of your options are. What can you do?
Right.
What should you do? I mean, do you want to go and talk to somebody? Do you want a quest? Do you want to do nothing? Like, you don't know. You don't know. You're not given a list of things that you can do. As a player, depending on what you want to do, you need a DM that's going to be trying to run that type of game. If you want the direction, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want a story-driven direction, then that's fine. Find a DM that's doing that.
Right.
The world is full of danger. In every environment, there lurks hidden terrors waiting for their chance to strike. Dr. Gregory Parsnips and his team of hardy adventurers have faced some of the worst monstrosities the world has to offer. And lived. Read their harrowing tales and deeds in Dr. Parsnips' new book, a collection of tales detailing the deeds and courses of Dr. Gregory Arthur Parsnips and Company, featuring a multitude of terrifying and monstrous creatures with which conflict is had. Get your copy today.
Look. No, Sam. All right, fine. Captain, I promise. No, I'm taking this very seriously. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be great. Don't worry. We're out here, you know, under the authority of the king with an announcement with the intention of serving the public by the order of the king. I have been instructed to inform you that a small community of goblin refugees from the east have been permitted to live within the borders of the kingdom in compliance with the Green Ear Treaty signed 50 years ago. Which I gotta say, I looked into that and I just want to applaud the stunningly progressive language I found in there. We were only referred to as the murderous little green beasts 7 different times. Great job, everyone. Really, I'm just impressed. It continues. There is no cause for alarm, as the king and his court will be taking every precaution to keep you, your family, and your property safe during this trying time. Yes, because the goblins, that's... that's what you gotta worry about. No, definitely, that's it.
How should players go about determining what kind of style their prospective DM might be looking to implement?
From a player's perspective, there are some questions you should be asking your DM. The setting is a big deal. If you are talking to a DM who's running a setting that all their players, they're going to be joining sort of a guild or a company or a group of people that are like say a den of thieves or a pirate's ship or something. That gives you an idea sort of for the setting. Are they running a module? Are they running homebrew? Are they running some sort of mix? They're using a pre-made world? Is it their homebrew world? And that'll give you sort of an idea of what they want to do. So what you need to find out is, are the sessions going to be encounter driven? I guess that's the best way to put it. Because asking them, hey, look, is every session going to be combat, or are we going to have opportunities to roleplay? It seems straightforward, but the main thing is, are they building their game to be encounter driven? If a DM is building their game to be encounter driven, then most of the time, not all the time, most of the time it's going to be that you need to defeat these encounters to progress.
Right.
That tends to let you know that it's going to be more combat oriented. Some DMs, and you need to ask them this question: can you solve, will they allow you to solve encounters or even combat encounters?
Right.
Can you solve these problems with roleplay?
Yeah.
Do you have that option if your reasoning and your roles line up? Can
Right.
you solve these things with roleplay? If the answer is yes, then they're allowing for more roleplay. If the answer is no, which is fine,
Yep.
you're going to have to fight. That means
Yeah.
they want more combat. And I've been in games where I felt, as a charismatic character, that I could persuade some certain bad guys.
Right.
But the DM had the mindset that, hey,
This is
we have to have
rolled
combat
initiative. Yeah,
because it
like-
needs to be exciting.
Yes. Oh no, that's what I was saying. Is that's a really good way to phrase that, or to like come at that, is by saying, hey, so how often will I be able to talk my way out of whatever
Yes.
mess we find ourselves in, or think my way out of, or because my answer to that is, hey, if it's reasonable, like you're saying, and the dice line up and all that stuff, yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
There are no guaranteed combats, right? But I think there are DMs who are going to say, well, there's going to be some situations where you're fighting, the giants in this are just savage, mean monsters.
Yeah.
And they don't want to hear it, and they're not going to talk with you. And that's what you're fighting a lot of the time. So there aren't going to be a lot of situations where maybe you can, convince them that it's not worth fighting, or that there's a better alternative. And and I think that is like a really important piece of information to get, and a good way to start to kind of figure out where your DM is as far as players are concerned.
And like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's just finding your fit. It's finding your group. All of it's viable, all of it's fun. But if you want a combat oriented game and the DM is not doing that, or
Right.
vice versa, you're going to end up with some issues.
That makes sense.
You're going to end up not having fun, and that's the whole point of it.
That's not great.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. Man, I gotta get those hotkeys figured out so I can unmute myself without having to frickin' find it, because sometimes I'm not super fast at that. We are back for Old for Gold. We are traveling through the desert. These guys decided to check out a mysterious tower with rabbit people digging around near its base, underneath the floating tower. In a archaeological dig, you guys were talking whether to try to enlist these guys' help when a giant green beam of energy exploded out of the ground and a dark voice roared, "No!" And the sky turned an ugly shade of green before everything got sucked back in, and then with a sound like a thump, just silence as the sand settles down to the ground.
Well, maybe this whole conversation we're having is not even maybe a moot point at this point.
They could all be dead.
I don't. Should we help them?
Hello, Mr. Turtle Man.
Oh, yes. Hang on.
There's some shuffling. There's like a sound of a few rocks being drug and then fallen over, and you see
Did you die?
Basil come out.
No, I'm just fine.
He dusts himself off.
Right, but did you die? Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean. Is that some kind of expression?
Got any hand marks on you? Just curious.
No, I don't think so.
All right, sir. I think he's fine.
What?
Yeah, checks out.
Have you guys decided anything, you gentlemen?
I suppose we could probably tell him. He just like, yeah. Actually, Arlon, damn it. You can handle this, I think. But
Yeah, you tell him,
I
Aerosmith.
suppose he probably just did, seal away one of these other things. He might be like he's more of an expert at sealing away dead gods than we are, right?
Well, again,
Well,
he
he's-
wasn't a god. He was
wasn't
just
a god.
an elder mummy lord.
Right, I feel like you're saying that, like you think that's different in my head, but like it's exactly the
There's
same thing.
Very
Basically.
many tiers of both gods and major deities.
Like eggs.
Yeah, yes. Top shelf liquors versus bottom shelf liquors.
Now I understand. Now I was very
It's like a
confused.
cake. Okay,
Oh,
All right.
yes.
I'll get it.
You need to start with that. Like, start with stuff anyone could
And
understand.
he puts a very long pipe into his mouth and says,
So what are you doing out here in the desert?
I was searching for Lael, looking to
Right.
lock her away.
Again, it's a myth, I believe. I've done a slight research in it, and I believe the night god was something of a fairy tale that the Meeshans used to tell one another.
So
Do
to
you
go like,
want to tell him
pull
about your
down his,
experience?
yeah, I'll pull. It's there to go like pull his sleeve up or something, and reveal the black hand mark thing. He says, like, right, so like I wasn't born with that, yeah. It's like this thing that sort of happened when I kind of like died a little bit earlier. I mean, not like completely, obviously. I got better, but like,
Right.
yeah, that's what I was asking. Like after having conversed with you, whether or not you had died. Like it's actually a real concern in my mind that like maybe you did, but like sort of came back or whatever.
Right. No. I'm fine. I did not die, so it were.
Me either. He like says much louder to like anyone who's
You see,
like,
you had me
you know.
going there. Like I thought you did die, and you were like doing a play thing this whole time. Now I'm convinced again. All right, I see.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, because I'm a living thing and not any sort of like antichrist or freak, so that's like important that we all keep that together.
I'm still confused as to how this all went down. You say that you died, and then something to do with the night god, Lyle?
There was like this sort of like angel lady. Everything went all like grey, you know,
Gray angel.
and then like kind of time stopped or what have you, except for like me and like whatever out here lady who was like talking to me and telling me if I don't do certain things that like, you know, I'll be in her service for an eternity or something like that. Which like, you know, it's sort of like a form of immortality, right? That's pretty cool. But,
Basil makes like a motion like this and turns to nobody and says,
I think this guy's crazy.
this guy is kook. Yep. Reasonable. You know, sort of pot to the kettle
So
situation.
you're saying you're
here,
wandering around the eastern Meeshan Desert looking for the legendary city of Quamar.
Well, like, yeah, we've sort of got a heading, right? Any kind of
We have the
gestures.
location of the lost city.
My, that is
Yeah,
fascinating.
there was.
Are you
We've got a researcher who's pretty solid.
Are you on your way there now, I suppose?
That is, that's why we've stopped here.
Would you
See
like a
what you're
ride in my tower to the location that you're seeking?
So that thing just flies around.
Oh yes, it is. I was awarded this when I reached doctoral status in Gira.
Wait, they just give you towers?
Oh, yes,
I
after
thought it was
years and
called
years of
tenure.
study.
Sorry. God damn it.
Turns to you two. We could have got a tower instead of doing whatever the fuck this is.
That
Does
sounds
it
pretty cool.
fit? Can we put Hyatt lizards in there?
Right, what's the trunk space like?
Yes, the first floor contains a stable, but how many hide lizards are we talking about here?
Do we have
How
like
many?
4 of them left?
3. You have 3 left.
3 of them left. We
One
have
fell into
3.
a pit
Three.
and 2 were eaten by an eagle.
That should be fine. Yes, I have room for 3 giant lizards.
Couldn't we
We
let
have a
let
bit of
him?
a party back there with a couple of others.
Oh,
full
I see.
members.
None of them are, those kinds of races, right?
We have one red orc.
I'm not sure what those kinds. It's weird that you like had one to jump
he's
to
going
when
to
he
have
says
to
that.
use the downstairs
Lizard kind of looks
bathroom.
over.
Well, out here, the red orcs are scary and they bite you. You know, I assume that's what he was talking about.
Yes,
Well,
and
he's
I feel like
like an exile one. He's a good guy. I
He's
mean,
a
he's
good
kind of a
dude.
pussy, but he's like an all right guy.
well, but like they are companions, I guess. If you're willing to take us in, like I guess we're
yes,
vouching
of
for
course,
them
of
or
course.
whatever.
I have extra room in my tower now.
How
Well, this is
fast does it
perfect.
go?
We might be able to avoid some of these dangers that we were concerned about with the desert to begin with.
He gets on the platform and says,
So, all right, well, gather your party and I will lower the tower towards the ground.
All right. They'll jump on the Hyatt lizard and just head back.
Okay.
Leave you guys there. Explain the situation to Aslan. Aslar. Ram.
Asbar.
as
Hasbro.
Hasbro.
One of these days you're going to get my name right.
You know,
Don't
it's really
hold
just
your breath.
done because for some reason, every time I read my name, the voice in my head just says Arlon, which is not how it's pronounced.
It's the O. You really should have gone with an I.
Yes, but that's not how my parents spelled it.
Well, I'm not one to judge parents and their naming conventions, but
Because, English vowels definitely only have one way to be.
yeah, so
Right.
it's my way or the highway.
All right, Asvan, let's get over there. They've got a tower that's going to take us to Quamar.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad we stopped.
Me too.
That rabbit lady's gonna let me pet her more.
Probably, unless they did end up using her as a sacrifice.
Oh, did y'all use that nice rabbit lady as a sacrifice?
Dude,
It was-
listen,
Oh, well,
Not an immediate no, which kind of concerns me. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, not just her.
It's like a group effort sacrifice.
I'm not sure how like that's
Yes,
to
well,
make us feel
he
better.
looks a little fidgety and goes,
Well, yes, see, it's the blood chieftain requires, a great sacrifice in order to seal the door, and they
Blood for the
agreed
blood
to
god,
help.
of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were not completely clear on exactly the nature of their help, but I promised them it would be a good deed.
Jalal does the same thing he did, but instead of turning to Cert, he turns the other way and says, "This guy's fucking crazy."
Yeah, I'm like sort of concerned.
I wouldn't drink any of his tea. That's all I'm saying. I don't trust that guy.
Oh, it's
But,
okay. I'm not going to use you in any kind of crazy turtle experiments or anything like that.
Yeah, but you didn't specify, you didn't say I'm not going to use you in any turtle experiments. You said crazy ones.
Right.
Now I'm really
Yeah.
worried.
I just want to say, Sir, do you remember what my nickname was? I can't really remember.
Oh, wait. Something about
What?
trash cans, right?
No.
It was the trash man. Yeah, that was.
Well, that's what they called me. That's what they called me back in the day. Like when I just, I ripped a man's face off yesterday. So that's all.
Oh right, Nick
Like,
Cage.
Oh,
Just-
that's
Sorry.
Just be,
pretty impressive.
I don't want to. I don't
Arlen's
want
coming over the hill and he goes, Face Ripper!
That was it. Right, yeah, no,
Hi, Arlen.
sorry. Nick Cage doesn't make sense.
Oh, yes. You have brought a red orc here.
Yeah. He's all right.
Hmm.
He's been helping us find the city of Quamar.
Right.
It's kind of his thing. So if anything, you have him to thank for us also saving the world that you're now trying to you were
Hey,
saving.
I saved the world first.
Yeah, but like
You
we're
did.
gonna do it a little bit more flashy. Like
It's
you
impressive, actually.
kind of sat on the sidelines. We're gonna be like the ones like, ooh, we're in here and we're gonna save the world.
Well,
How many people do you think, like, at a given time are, like, all saving the world?
oh,
Like, independently from, like, various
they
threats
did a
across the
study
continent?
on this a few years back in one of the universities in Gira, and they said at any time there's at least 3 Paralandia-ending calamities per year that are solved by random groups of adventurers.
That's kind of like Sonda to some degree. That kind of like realization that there's all these other people doing all these other things, complicated lives.
Right.
I feel quite
But
small.
about the end of the world instead.
You're pretty big though. Like, look at you, sir. You're very like tall. I don't think you can feel that.
Right.
There's
I mean,
uh,
yeah.
much about Paralandia that is unusual. That's for sure.
It's crazy that, like, nobody's just gotten unlucky and, like, sort of not managed to,
Oh,
save the
see, that's
day.
the thing. Is yes, the success rate of Paralandia continuing to exist is quite high, as you can see. So, there has to be some kind of a force outside that is directing these adventurers to succeed in these adventures. So,
Like a
more
divine
study
intervention.
is needed. Yes.
Jalal's having an aneurysm.
Can we
That is the best argument for gods that I've ever heard made for like from anyone, actually.
Have you
Sorry,
ever heard
you
of
were
the
saying.
god Naravares?
Yes, I have.
That is who I follow.
Oh, you're gonna have to use the downstairs bathroom too.
Oh, is that a bad thing? That I
Well-
follow the pursuit of knowledge?
Yes, but it's
And-
what you do with that knowledge that is unusual.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. Maybe you were speaking into a fan, but I could only hear a few
You said-
parts of what you were saying.
It's what you do with that knowledge that is unusual.
That's what you think.
Well, that's why you're using the bathroom with the red orc.
At the same time. That's a weird, like, arbitrary requirement. I feel
They're
like.
animals. Barely.
He looks at
conscious.
Azran and says, "You never cross the streams."
You know,
I've
man,
heard that.
I don't like this guy. He seems kind of racist.
He seems
Kinda.
incredibly racist. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have like an open bar up there?
Oh, of course. And
All right. I think we can trust this guy.
I,
Like,
I have quite a bit of devil's grass, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
No, he's definitely like a reliable, trustworthy individual. They're obviously rough around the edges.
Well, yeah. Look at him. His shell's all jagged.
Exactly, that's what I meant. Yeah. Right, and he's like rubs and finger. Cool. Close. Oh.
All right. Bathroom
Also-
usage aside,
Scaly as well.
Right.
You know.
you can take us to Quamar.
I can. If you give me the coordinates, I can punch it into my tower, and we'll get there.
Punch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Your tower.
He's quite good at punching.
Oh, well, if you would like to direct the tower, I'll let you pilot it.
I would be honored to do this
Very good.
service.
Very excellent, excellent. Do you have much experience flying these?
You guys are he makes a little hand gesture and the tower lowers, and you guys start leading the Hyatt lizards on. The first floor, which opens up is a kind of like a double door, is a stables with a bunch of old hay and several sections for creatures that are about the size of horses, but the Hyatt lizards can take up 2 without much problem. There are 6 levels to the tower. Basil turns and says,
Well, you have free reign over the first 3 levels. You can go anywhere, but the top 3 are my personal area. You understand? I don't go up there. But we will be in Quamar, and what's your name, young man, who wanted to fly the tower?
Oh, my name's Jalal.
Well, I'll take you up to the control room, and you can see what's going on and how to, if you're interested, that is.
Yeah. I do have a question though, and this is completely off topic. And do you happen to know anything about red elves?
Oh yes, actually, quite a bit.
I would rather talk to you than fly.
Okay,
Extensively.
I enjoy a good conversation.
I don't want tea though. Something stronger, like with an alcohol content label on it, maybe.
Yes.
Or if you have anything with like X's on it, like the more X's, the better.
Yes, I actually have a brew that's brewed in the Goblin Lands. They put it in bottles that are nothing but X's.
Oh, it's like an X-shaped bottle, right?
Yes, made out of smaller X's. It's a very fine craftsmanship.
Wow. I've only heard legends of the infinite X bottle.
Yes, the infinite X liquor.
I don't know how they fit so many X's in that little bottle.
It's recursive.
It's amazing. Yes, if you get a microscope, there's smaller X's in the X's.
I heard legend that the molecules that make up the bottle are in fact X's as well.
Yes, dwarven made. In fact, they don't have very many of these bottles left.
God, I think that he's a keeper.
Well,
we got to keep him
I just
around.
saved the
Thanks,
world,
man.
and I feel like there's some celebration. And since none of you got the ramp up from the epic 1.5-year adventure that I was on, I feel that I at least should invite you to take part. I don't want to drink up in my tower alone.
That'd be weird.
Right. It's what I was planning on doing, though, you understand. It was going to be
It
kind of a
wouldn't be weird.
bittersweet celebration.
What I meant to say is it wouldn't be weird. That'd be very normal of you.
Standard operating procedure.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like-
that's how people.
Yeah, it's like it's the hero's journey. You start, you finish, drinks just keep coming.
Drinks just
And you
keep
end up
coming,
binging.
yes.
Yeah.
So you guys get up to the 3rd floor. The 2nd floor is a kitchen and a kind of a dining room area. The 3rd floor is a big lounge with a large collection of books and large overstuffed chairs and a few fireplaces set across this pretty expansive room. Basil says,
Passed by the downstairs bathroom.
yes, you did.
Look like.
and is a hole that just opens up to the bottom of the tower. You have to squat over it.
Just looks at Arlen and points in. Smiles. Arlen, you're living fine.
I think I've had a change of faith.
Oh,
Suddenly I worship the turtle god.
I didn't get to be this old by being that easy to fool, young man.
Oh, I was being facetious. I wasn't even attempting to fool you.
I'm Surtuk.
You're all
Jesus, I'm dead.
Damn it. Can't
Anyway,
pass it up.
you
I
wanted to
apologize.
discuss red elves.
Right. Well, you see,
Gets
I
comfy into a chair and packs a bowl with a bunch of shredded plant matter.
I had an issue as a kid, you know, like a small one, like the amputation of my arm and the refitting of an arm onto it. You know, like growing up, right? Like everyone goes through some, like trials and tribulations.
Changes, yes.
Right, exactly. But instead of like getting a deeper voice, because I always sounded like this as a kid, so my parents were
Yes.
6-year-old child.
I would really like some apple juice. Well, you see, and you know, some kids that happens. I had this arm grafted onto me by the spirit that dwells within it,
Yes.
and
Perfectly normal.
right, you know, childhood. It's a hard time for
Right,
everybody.
yes,
You know, it's a lot of like live and learn. And I've lived, and I haven't learned much, and that's why I need you to tell me a little bit more about red elves.
By the time
Live,
I
learn,
was-
graft an arm onto your missing
Yes.
arm socket.
Going to replace my half love poster above the door.
Right.
Well, by the time
Good
I was your age, I had already dropped 2 rings into volcanoes, so I have some experience in this.
Right, like, you know, just normal childhood stuff.
Right, exactly.
Y'all are looking at me like I'm weird. Why? Never mind.
Not sure what throwing jewelry into volcanoes has to do with. Just
Oh,
shrugs
boys.
and like grabs.
Old boy's got an arm stapled onto him by a demonic frickin' elf, a half red elf. I follow the god frickin' Neravares, and I've got a poop in the hole at the bottom of the tower.
I mean, realistically, that's like the best. I mean, it's the most efficient form of restoration. I will probably use that as well. Can you imagine the satisfaction of taking a deuce and it falls through the hole?
Just make sure
Untold
that no one
depths
above is
below.
also going, because that's the same hole.
That seems like a really bad design.
There's a nicer hole above, and it just keeps progressively getting nicer.
Make sure the tower isn't accelerating, or somebody's going to have a messy poo on the floor.
A messy poo on the wall and on the
I-
person standing next to it. Yeah.
Flying into
The
the
problem
fire.
is, I'm not. These old bones, I can't get down in a good position like that. I'm afraid I'll fall through the hole.
Well, you just
Oh,
gotta
no,
sit
it's-
and like you gotta make the holes touch.
You're
Right.
much too fat to fall into the hole. It's fine.
Wow, thank you.
I mean,
So
it's
much.
like a relatively small hole. I feel like
yes.
the entire 10-foot circle around this, although, is just caked with old shit and piss. Then if it's this series of 6,
I did not
No.
spring for the indoor plumbing model on the tower, okay? I
you
do
sprung for
what
the indoor single hole.
was the cheapest option. I don't,
All right,
I
well-
don't have bowel movements very often as a toward, okay? It's not something I
Gross.
deal with very often.
That's
As much as I'd
interesting.
love to talk about Arlen and shitting in that order, can you
Maybe.
please extrapolate on your knowledge of red elves
Oh, yes, of course.
and perhaps take a look at this arm also?
Guess what, guys?
Of course.
Surtuk solves this problem because he bought a fucking parasol.
And
Shitting with a parasol.
and it's now blocked. Fuck all of you.
Now you have a rain
You're
of
like,
shit
why did
around.
they hurt you buy this? Oh my god, it's silly.
This is your ticket.
Ha! Who's silly now?
Well, if the ladder weren't
Still
fucked up,
me.
you could probably hold on to the ladder and shit.
Oh
But
my
that's not
goodness.
magical.
Anyway, sorry.
Woo! He goes, yes,
Pooping
well,
on a parasol probably it's like a one-time deal.
No, yeah,
That works more than
it
once.
doesn't stand up very long to that kind
not
of
like a
Especially
regular
after
umbrella.
5 stories of
yes. It's
High
like-
velocity.
Terminal
Yeah.
velocity turds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And depending on what's shitting up there, it might just go right through and just
wonder
Anyway.
no wonder he makes one poop downstairs. So the scary big poop doesn't fall.
It's just so he can potentially poop that on
Red
the
orc
ground.
poop
That's
is
it.
like
He
this.
just waits. It's like,
Yes.
Do you have to go to the bathroom yet? Please let me know what you do.
I've got something saved up for you. Yes.
oh god.
Anyway, yes. Red orcs. Red elves, rather. Yes. Well, as you know, they are red in color, and they're descended from elves.
Wow, that's knowledge I never would have gathered on my own without your help.
Well, they were descended from some of the elven slaves that the orcs used to keep, and when the Red Queen fell, they went underground, became obsessed with extending their lifetimes far beyond the natural scope of things. And, well, they split off into different families that had different methodologies of keeping them alive. Your arm, I believe,
He puts on some glasses and kind of looks at it over.
is from the Mechanicus tribe. The ones that replace their bodies with machine and artifice to keep them alive longer. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the
Which arm is it? Is it your right arm?
My right arm.
Yeah, this is the right arm of their of an ancient chief of theirs from long ago.
All right.
Where
Is
did
that-
you come by this artifact?
You know what like a swap meet is?
That is not the beginning of the answer I expected, but
Yeah. I would love to tell you, like I do tell all the fine young women that I meet in the taverns abroad, that I won this in battle. I will not lie to you, and I will tell you, in fact, that it was a coming of age present that I picked out from a traveling caravan.
oh, interesting.
I thought it would be like a nice wall piece. My family kind of comes from money, so.
Right, and then you decided to attach it to your own body.
Well, the problem is, when I touched it, I heard a whole bunch of voices in my head, and
yes.
and then I heard one voice in my head, and I woke up like 2 days later, and I had like my sister was screaming. I had like a bloody arm on my bed, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's my arm!" And then I looked down, and I was moving it around, and I was waving at my
Right,
sister, and
right.
still screaming. And I like she wouldn't stop screaming.
Yes, I can imagine that would probably be very frightening, especially for a human.
I didn't have that much problem.
Have you often made it cost an arm and a leg joke? Certain kind of just looks over. Like when you go at the swap meet or whatever.
I like where your head's at, sir.
Okay. Excellent.
Is that you? Did you
That's
come up with
nuts.
that?
Did you save your
Yes.
old arm?
I think
What a question.
I remember one of our servants coming by and taking it. I don't really know what they did with. I didn't ask.
Interesting. Well,
Like that might be hanging on a wall in my house right now. Like our son did a good job and they put it on the.
right.
Oof.
Well,
Yeah.
I have heard a story of the chieftain from that used this arm. If you'd like to hear it.
Absolute.
Well, apparently he had discovered a way to live forever, but not within the same body. Have you heard of the Wanderers?
Is that a band?
No,
They're
it's
pretty solid.
it's a. There are the Wanderers of the Meeshan Desert are constructs that were created long, long ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, and they go through a certain process every 100 years. Their memories and their personalities are completely reset, so they live many lifetimes in the same body. Well, this red elf believed that he could mimic the same thing and bounce between body and body in sort of a mockery of the idea, and built himself a mechanical body, part of which is now grafted onto you. But then made plans to replace his metal body with a flesh one once again. And onwards and onwards and onwards, back and forth, flesh to metal, leaving pieces of himself to call to the flesh that was left behind.
Holy shit, there's actually
Right.
probably a guy in there.
Do you think I was lying when I said that he talked and stuff?
No, I just didn't think that there was actually a guy in there. He looks at you with like a weak grin. Like, I mean, you know, like,
Just a casual head tilt.
you know, you were like under the impression that that was what was occurring. Okay. Anyway, we should get back.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But, yes, that's, I believe that's the most information I can give you about this particular artifact.
Any idea like where other parts of him might be, or where his tribe may exist?
His tribe almost certainly still exists in the Transcendent Wastes, somewhere deep in the catacombs beneath the blasted ruin. However, the parts of him, I believe that they are spread over across Paralandia, and that the parts they replace are what are used to build his flesh bodies. Your arm probably made its way to the Transcendent Wastes and is now making up the right arm of the new chieftain of the Mechanicus tribe.
So he's still alive,
Yes,
but he's also in my arm.
a part of him, yes. He has split his soul up among his mechanical parts.
He's
This
such a
guy.
god.
Thank God. He does say a lot about worship, but you know, I kind of like I bat him off like I do Arlen.
You must be remarkably powerfully willed to resist his influence for so long.
Well, I started drinking after I put this thing on, so maybe that is a part of it. You know, like a little bit of me here and there.
Right. Or it could be too.
Not sure I see the
stubbornness.
connection.
Well, I've been told that I'm somewhat stubborn at times.
Yes. It would be interesting to communicate with him and see what he thinks of your existence grafted onto your body.
Will you
Probably
do that?
not too pleased.
Oh,
Well,
I
that too.
can't, no. But there are a few who can tap into the piece of soul that's in there and communicate with it.
Oh.
Here, I'll write down a name for you.
Casually opening notes.
In Damther, there is a witch who goes by the name of Old Mother Hubbard. You will find her in the bar called the Cupboard.
Oh, Mother Alfred in the cupboard. Okay. Yeah, I heard her. She's like related to Aunt Jemima, right?
Yes. And the lady who swallowed the fly.
Is that? I don't.
All right, thank you.
Who's the lady who slept on like 9 mattresses and could still feel the pee underneath of them?
Paris
Princess.
Hilton.
She's like Paris Hilton. No.
Paris Hilton.
Yes.
Princess Paris, I believe, of the Hilton.
Hilton tribe, right?
Yeah.
Right. Very famous.
Renowned. Yeah. It's
Well-
a chain of inns.
Anyway,
Thank you very much.
If you provide me with the coordinates to Quamar, I would be very interested in taking you there.
All right. Well, he looks at Asnar.
He is
Asnaran.
kind of, angrily steaming in the corner.
Don't shoot yourself over there. You gotta
What's the problem there? buddy.
I don't trust this guy.
Right, yeah, it's like kind of reasonable, on some levels, but like, I mean,
He did just save the world or something. So,
from what he said,
That's
I mean,
what I mean.
also-
He could have gone down there and released something. You don't know.
there was like a no sound.
I
Right,
think if
so-
something was released that wanted out, it probably would have said yes.
Well,
like, sweet, there's his bitchin'. You
thank
know,
God.
that sort of
Have my
thing.
tower.
Like, oh my god, it's been so long.
Feel my legs again.
Right, yeah.
but
Such a
didn't he
crick in my
just
back.
didn't he sacrifice 3 of his companions without
Yeah,
their
yeah.
knowledge?
It
Well, I
feels
don't
like
know.
maybe-
I mean, he did say you're needed for the sacrifice. It sounds like maybe they had. an
No, he
idea
said
that-
like for the ritual.
Oh, for the ritual. Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
I assume that they knew that they were what they were
but he
getting
sort
into.
of
But
said.
by the same coin, did you not just hire a bunch of people to be throwaways in the case that something were to happen?
But
How can you
wasn't-
fault a man for the same thing?
I wasn't sure those men were going to be needed to die.
Well, it sounds like these people knew that they were going to be sacrificed for a ritual. I would have
I'm not sure.
assumed,
if
given
I
their.
got that impression.
I,
I thought he kind of said the other side of that. Like, well, they knew
If
they
they
were going to
needed-
be involved, but not to the extent of their.
yeah, that's what he
sacrifice or
said.
something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, it would have been a copyright claim if Bugs and Lola stayed alive. So
That's
he was
true,
doing it
yeah.
on purpose, really.
yeah.
Bugs, Lola, and Roger. Yeah.
Can't have that.
We did it for the FCC.
Apparently, I do copyright laws in that.
Anyway,
It's
again,
quite
the
rigorous.
the location of Quamar.
Right, the location. And he looks back at Ezran. He's the one with the
Ezran's like-
thingy, right?
Don't do it. Don't ask me for
I
it.
mean, you're the one what we've got the stuff that we need
No,
to
I
sort
have the
get the
map
location.
of Quamar. You, he points at Surtuk, you're the one who's supposed to know where it is.
You do, yeah.
Not on the wall.
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
mean,
saw
I
on
guess
the
I
wall.
thought we drew that on the map.
Yeah,
that
Oh,
we
sure.
had or
Okay. Then,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
so-
Or you have like
I
a-
assumed that we
yep.
like had whatever. Yeah, my bad.
Gotcha.
But that's yeah.
He's-
I
he's-
suppose then yeah, he just hand him that. I think right, hand it to Arlen at least. Let him make a
Okay.
call.
Yeah.
But
He
Insight
looks
this
at. Yeah, can I? Yeah, I'd like an insight check.
would-
then
Sure.
hang-
I trust
I
Art.
think that's discern realities.
Sure.
in
Sure.
this, yeah.
Wisdom.
Yeah,
Seems legit.
wisdom.
Hey, it's failure.
Nice.
That's a 6.
So you just
So-
don't get to discern realities here.
No.
Yeah, I think you can't discern any answers.
Okay. So do you hand it over to the old turtle?
I absolutely do.
He says,
I think that's his base instinct in this
Well,
situation.
thank you very much. I will just go upstairs and punch these coordinates in, and
I would like to have somebody.
Oh
accompany
yeah.
me.
Right.
Whether
makes
that is
sense.
Jalal or myself. These
We
you know,
kinda
this is
need
the
that
only
back.
map that has this sort of information
of
on
course,
it.
of
that
course.
exists.
All right. Well, let Jalal.
Got
Would
like a
you like
picture
to
in my
come
brain
up
a
with
bit.
me then to make sure everything is all okay?
Well, yeah, you're doing.
All right.
I like punching. I feel like we've got like a combined effort here.
you guys walk over to a small door and he pushes a button and an elevator opens. He says,
All right. Well.
Holy
Your
shit.
face.
Yes,
the
I
floor.
Have
moves.
holes to shit, but you have a fucking elevator.
Listen, I'm very particular about what perks I got with this tower and what I got base model in, alright?
Yeah, I mean, you could remodel though. Like, you can knock a few walls out and put like.
Yes. Well,
I mean,
saving the
just
world
like
doesn't
a
pay
tube.
lot,
Right. Even.
Right.
but
Like,
then the
tubes
other
are
person
basically
couldn't
free.
use it. Just be one long tube. Everyone would have to walk to the top floor.
No, you like it could like curve at each point and have like a chute that's like
Mm.
run, like a
You know, I'll
gutter
write
system
that
that's sort of
down. And maybe the
yeah.
people that make towers would like to get that.
It could even look like pretty nice, I think, if you like dressed it up or whatever. You could do the stonework all pretty.
Yeah, you can put
Right.
parasols over each hole so people can actually like.
Anyway, Anyway,
Safe.
So it doesn't, isn't blatantly obvious that it's a shit tube.
would you like to come up with me, Jalal, to make sure
I'll
that
follow you, yeah.
All right, very good.
But if you do any shady stuff, I'll probably hit you. That's just, a warning. I don't
Right
want
in the
to
mouth.
You
nowhere.
wouldn't hit an old turtle, would you?
I would absolutely hit an old turtle.
Well,
He
there
would.
Like, I,
He turns back to the other two.
yeah, tell him. Just tell him.
Absolutely would. Without
He
like,
hits
hesitation.
lots of things very, very.
All right.
Right.
He
oh, go on.
I think he's going to go up to him and put up his hand for a high five for Jalal.
I use the construct.
Mhm.
Perfect. And we connect, and I cast magic weapon on his hand.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
What does that do?
It makes it magic.
Ooh,
Oh
Makes
my
it do
god,
more
you're
damage.
incredible.
nice.
You get plus 1d4 damage
Nice.
until I dismiss the spell.
Wow.
All right. So you walk into the elevator
Well,
and it
let
closes.
me make sure it works.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It does. Oh, it super works.
Ooh.
That's a 10 plus 2, so 12.
So you walk into the elevator and it closes and it rises pretty smoothly to the top. Basil is sitting there holding the paper, kind of whistling and rocking back and forth to himself. He turns to you and goes, and then turns back and turns back to you. Turns back. You guys reach.
Awkwardly standing there, nodding back, not understanding.
You guys reach the top floor and it opens, and you see that there is it's the top floor. It's very small, probably about a 10 by 10 space. One wall has a bank of what looks like crystal knobs and buttons. He comes over and starts punching things in, and but again, the room is about 10 by 10. So he walks across and begins punching things in and goes,
Would you like to see how this works?
Yeah, absolutely.
so
I'm
he-
noticing we're like poking and punching though. Like
Right.
I expected a little bit more force behind these like
no,
contact.
it's a turn of phrase.
He finishes punching it in, and a little map comes up, and he goes,
Oh, yes. Well, it does seem like your information is correct. You are on your way. This is amazing. It's not a myth after all.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're very interested in it, let us do what we got to do, and then you can
I'm
look around
I'm
as well.
Sorry, I think that I would like to save the world again. So I think that I'm going to capture you and go do this by myself.
I hit him.
the walls light up with runes on all floors. So you guys are hanging out, and these walls light up with runes. You are unable to move, except for your construct arm. It is unaffected by this magic.
Am I close enough to him since he was teaching me? I
are.
super hit him.
All right, go ahead and I'm going to allow you to just roll your damage because he is going to be surprised by this.
An old fucking man.
Yes.
Wow.
That's 10.
Okay.
2d4.
Mm-hmm.
That is 16 damage.
You hit him, and he turns to you as if he is smug about what he has done. But you basically whap him across the face, and he goes flying through the control panel of the tower, and out the window. You guys, the control panel begins going haywire, and you feel the tower begin to slowly begin its descent in a more and more sideways pattern. You guys, the symbols on the walls are there. You are frozen in place for maybe 2 seconds before Jalal hits this guy, goes through the control panel, and those runes fail. Though the tower begins shifting like a ship that is slowly sinking, and all the books begin to fall off the shelves. Azran is like,
I fucking told you. I fucking told you.
I mean, like, so right, that's what, 1 for like 5 now. So cool your
I'm
jets.
still keeping score.
We got a way to go, but if we die here, then it won't matter.
How fast is the descent occurring?
It is
if
slow
we're
right
able to
now,
get
but
anywhere?
it is getting faster and it's getting more and more horizontal. It is falling horizontally faster than it is losing altitude.
Going
This
this and
is
then
not
down.
Yes.
Oof. I want to try to get in the elevator.
Okay. You are able to get in the elevator, and it's.
We just get in it and go up right
Oh,
as it
you
hits
guys,
the ground.
you're on the top floor. You guys are on the third floor.
No, I never mind.
Okay.
Stupid
Did he
like that.
drop the map when he threw it out the window, or did he keep the map in his hand?
Sertuk, you spot it. It's on the control panel. A bit of the control panel caught the paper.
Sertuk?
Jalal does.
Or no, sorry, Jalal. Yes, sorry, Jalal. You see that the map has been caught on the control panel. It's like
Snag it.
fluttering in the wind. All right, so you snag it and shove it into your pocket. Pants, right? Pants, of course. Yeah. So you jump into the elevator. What are you guys doing as this tower is slowly listing to one side? You're being
I
pelted
am
with
praying
books.
to my god.
Okay.
I would like to petition my deity, and see what should I do.
Okay.
Apparently, it doesn't have a role to it.
So,
Really?
It says when you petition your deity according to the precept of your religion. I'm looking at my deity.
Oh. What's she look like?
What's your deity wearing?
Oh boy, nothing.
Oh.
No, long flowing robes.
Okay. I mean, it wasn't serious, but this is cool.
Okay. Oh, petition. I got you. That's cute. Okay.
Okay.
He takes 50 coins out of his pocket
All right.
and tosses them down the poop hole.
Okay.
Says, I have bought your guidance, Nara. Now please tell me. What do we do?
Get the fuck out of there! Go.
You feel a tug to the we'll say the fourth floor. Like a certainty that if you go there, you'll find safety.
Come on. And he runs toward the elevator.
Okay.
oh, there's stairs. This feels like
There
it's
is
an
stairs.
emergency situation.
Okay,
and
yeah,
we should
stairs then.
probably use stairs, right?
You you run up the stairs. You guys get to the what did I say? The fourth floor. The fourth floor as Jalal gets to the third floor. The door opens and you don't see anybody in this room as the shelves begin to fall over and books are all gathering together on one side.
If we wasn't down there
Shit.
yet, we probably should.
Would you have waited?
I don't know.
I don't know I don't
Yeah, probably not. I didn't realize that he wasn't, I guess.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Arlen?
We're up there.
Hello?
Hey, up here. Yeah, all it says is, like, God saying that we're safe if we go this way or whatever.
Well,
And, like, yelling
poke-
down the staircase. I guess
Quickly
that'd
pokes
be
the
huge.
button for the fourth floor. He's like tapping his
The
foot.
elevator is going up like this now. So you guys make it to the fourth floor, and you see that there is what looks like a floating small hut almost. It's not a hut made out of woods and sticks. It's more of a metal box that is hovering about 2 or 3 feet above the ground. Arlen, you'd immediately recognize this as a what would I call it? Like a stasis box or something. It is it doesn't share momentum. It moves with the tower, but if it hits the ground, nothing inside of it will feel the momentum of the outside.
Well, this is going to get in the box. We're not going to
Oh,
have any high
well-
episodes left.
We gotta get like everybody else, right?
That's what I thought I was having everybody come.
Yeah,
but
I
the-
felt like it was just us. Okay, I wasn't sure what was going on. I guess.
The other men are on the bottom floor, and not everyone was with you in the library.
Oh,
Yeah. then
Only
we
the
need to go
four
down
of
and
you
get the rest of them. I
were
guess.
in the library.
do we
Assuming that
do we
it
see how
seems
much
like
time we
there's,
have before?
Looking out the
Like, is there
window,
windows?
the ground is coming up much quicker now.
Does
You
it seem
have-
like there's time to get
No,
down?
no,
or-
you have maybe 30
Okay.
seconds before you have impact.
Elevator door opens.
All right, what's going on?
Everybody's gonna die. Quick, get in this box. And he runs into it.
And he just shakes his head and runs toward the box.
You guys get in, the box shuts, and Azran goes,
Okay, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, well, I would have expected you to say it like this was gonna happen exactly, because that's exactly what happened.
the interior is smooth metal with some chairs set along the side. You guys gather in, and the door shuts as the ground is rushing up. There is the sound of a tower hitting the ground, but you guys don't feel any change in direction or momentum. You hear dust settling outside, and Azran stands up and opens the door, and you guys are standing like this, but the ground is like, on the side
Sideways?
now. Yeah, sideways. So you're
Oh,
standing
give
along
me
a
vertigo
wall.
now.
right.
You guys, yeah, it's this just empty, hard packed sand as you climb out of the wreckage of this tower that has fallen in the desert. Something is on fire and it's purple. And there's like little spurts of magic as things that he had stored in the tower are broken and randomly going off. Looking in every direction, it is hard packed sand.
So
Oh.
was it just us three in there?
No, and Azran. Yeah, you three
Okay.
and Azran. Yep.
All right.
You
Well,
guys didn't
he's
have time to
surviving?
go down to the bottom floor and
Right. I just
retrieve the
I
other
wasn't
guys.
clear on who was up with us and who wasn't apparently.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to make sure I nailed that.
Yep.
down.
Yep.
I want to apologize to all three of you. That was a bad call, and it was put in my hands. And well, now we're further from home, without supplies, without pack animals, and that's not great.
Yeah, sort of killed everyone here. Not like you, but like that decision.
Well,
Kind of like
What
smiles.
happened there? What caused the tower
Yeah.
to fall over?
You a very poor pilot if this is
Uh,
the result of
so,
your efforts.
I'll tell you this: it wasn't me. We got up there and we were talking, chit chatting. Like he's a chatty kind of Kathy sort of guy. And I told him that he could wait while we did what we needed to do, and then he could look over the city. And he hit me with the rebuttal of, "I'm going to capture you and save the world again." I think he was on like some high horse thing, and he froze me. But he didn't freeze this arm that was graciously, magically enchanted by dear Arlen here. And I slapped the shit out of him so hard he flew out the window.
Oh my god! I
Well-
told him that you were gonna punch him right in the mouth. I
You,
knew it.
you know, we gave him very clear forward
ample
advice.
warning. Yeah.
Right. Like we told him exactly what was going to happen if some shit went down. Shit went down and that happened. I don't know. Maybe I'm psychic.
That's it. I think, yeah. Right. So, we were sort of momentarily imprisoned by some sort of weird, like, symbolism thing what popped up, and
Like the runes on the wall.
yeah, that. But it only like lasted a moment. I imagine, and you had something to do with it turning off. So
Yeah.
it's like good on you.
Slapping the shit out of that guy was kind of the thing.
Right. How much, like, what's the like rubble of this tower look like? Is it just like piles of rocks everywhere?
Yeah,
or are yeah.
it did hit the ground at kind of an angle, so a lot of the floors kind of rolled. Not everything is destroyed. You can see there are still full books. There are crates of food. There are a few barrels that look like they were full of some kind of liquid. As you guys are kind of picking through the ruins, Jalal, you unearth a bottle made of completely of X's that is half buried in the sand.
Wald picks it up, looks it over with almost religious reverence, and then pops the cork and takes a sip.
It's wonderful. Smooth, but still burns slightly. Tastes hints of charcoal, wood ash. It's very nice. Hickory.
I definitely stuffed that in my bag.
Okay.
And I want to... Oh, carry on, Eric.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say we need to like pick around and see what we can get for supplies. It's gonna be a much longer journey if we're on foot.
Look for survivors, maybe?
You pick your way through, and you do find at least, let's see, like the ration packs are in groups of 5, right? You have 5 per thing. So you find 4 of them, enough for each of you for the whole cycle. And 1 Hyatt lizard survived the crash. You unbury him,
Lord.
and he's bruised up and very angry and upset, but is grateful enough to be unburied that he's like, "Rah!" and then kind of squats and waits for orders.
I'll have ears for that too.
Yeah, I don't have lizard ears, unfortunately.
Damn shame.
Well, any idea where we are? Anyone?
He had a tower with 6 floors, and he was a wizard of some notoriety.
Yep.
Is there any items of his that survived the
Oh yeah.
This is like a dungeon loot situation.
Yeah, I mean,
right
we're trying
here.
to pick through and loot here.
Yep.
Whatever's available to grab. I suppose.
So yeah, you find a few chests that have 57 gold in total. Not in gold, obviously, but in like silver and copper that equal up to that total.
You made your god back.
Sweet.
You're net
the gold.
It's
just
gold.
the gold that I threw out the toilet.
Oh my goodness!
You find it sprinkled over a 50-mile radius.
Right. You also find what looks like to be a glass orb of some kind. We'll say that Surtuk, you find it and you pull it out of the sand and it kind of flashes a little bit. It feels
drops it quickly.
It falls to the ground and it kind of goes dark again.
There's like a magic thing over here. Somebody else might want to touch it because I'm not doing that anymore. He points at it. Just repeats that loudly every 30 or 40
I think
seconds.
Arlen fucking scrambles over there.
Okay.
Takes a looky poo at it.
Take too close to look poo.
You are able to figure out what it is. I won't even make you roll spell lore. It is a communication stone. Yeah, you can use this to communicate over long distances to people that have similar stones.
Okay. Well, it's sort of like a long-range communication device. If he's got a superior, I'm sure they'll probably be reaching out to him shortly, which is not great. But
he kind of struck me as like a lone wolf, but
I mean, you don't have one of these unless you have somebody to communicate.
Well, I mean, like hermits hang out and talk with each other or whatever, right? I think.
Yeah, they have like book clubs or something.
Called the Orb of Discord.
Fumble into it.
So you also find among the rubble a encyclopedia of everything.
I like that a lot.
It is a very large tome that's on a chain that you put on your body to hold it because the book is so large. And it will provide you +1 with spout lore.
He's immediately chaining that shit up.
Um,
Even
wow.
asking what it-
You're chaining up a book to yourself. Ridiculous.
I am
Shirt off.
I am tethered to the knowledge I seek.
That's a
And he
book.
winks. The old ball and chain.
It's not knowledge, it's a book. It's just
Um,
like paper with weird marks on it. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
there is also a armor stone. It is a small orb that orbits the user's head and provides +1 armor. It will get in the way of attacks.
That's cool. He throws that at Jalal.
If you want it, like I know I'm all about like long term living and whatnot. But Cert, if you feel like this would be helpful to you at all.
Oh, like, no, usually, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, probably, I assume. It would get quite annoying having something buzzing around my head constantly, and I think, like, you spend more time getting it, ideally, than I do. Right, like, I'm further away, usually, and if I'm getting struck, it's sort of like a bad situation.
Well, I want to make sure you don't, like, die, you know. You went through that once. I wouldn't want you to go through that again.
Right.
But if we can share it.
Sure, yeah, it's all yours, though. I'm good.
All right.
I mean, you know, it's all right.
As you're talking, the orb's already rotating around him, and he's like poking at it.
It's interesting. You can poke it out of orbit, but it goes right back in with a little bit of force. So it's like kind of going back and forth on you. And then among the sand, you find a simple symbol that Surtuk, you feel something kind of pulling at you as like Arlen pulls it out from the ground. Arlen, it's the only thing that you can't identify like right away. So if you want to go ahead and roll me a spout lore.
I'll bust out the old encyclopedia as well. And I rolled a 12. So +2 +1, that's a 15.
That's a surprise.
I made this item.
You open up the book and you like thumb through it, and you do find the entry for it. It is a celestial communication device. You basically, once you attune to it, if you have a god or being that is like observing you, it'll allow that god or being to communicate with you directly rather than having to go through the barrier of the material realm.
I don't know what that means, I guess, but so like,
Well, with this thing, you can talk to your little evil angel friend.
right, I'm not sure I'd really have any. I mean, that seems like basically not great, right? Like, more we talk with her, the more I'm gonna end up like potentially telling her that we're trying to kill her or whatever. She's like
Yeah.
bad news, right? I mean, but
we all know
that's
that
an
my-
interesting thing, and he probably will walk over and like grab it from him and start handling it a bit.
So as you grab it, you feel like a sense of falling. You guys see that Surtuk falls over, like kind of collapses into the sand. Surtuk,
Looks like he's got an oncoming call.
Jamal like rushes over to make sure he's not dead.
He's not dead. He's breathing very shallowly. Surtuk, you are suddenly in what looks like a very deep, dark cavern. And all the walls are covered in what looks like dark red moss growing from on the ceilings and along the walls. In the center, there is a throne that is attached to this moss, and you see that as the moss grows up the throne, it the moss turns into red chains that are covering this feminine looking figure, that you can't see through the moss and the chains. And her mouth is bound as well. And in front of her stands what looks like a very old, wizened orc lady. She is bent and old and gray, and she's in a rocking chair, rocking back and forth in front of this thing. She stands up and kind of stretches and walks over to you and goes, She pokes at you a little bit with her stick.
You'll have to do, I suppose. What's your name?
It's like midnight. Do you want to keep doing the rest of this scene?
Oh, shit. No, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So it will end with you seeing the statue and seeing the old lady rocking in front of it. Yeah, I lost track of time there. Thanks, Eric.
I was just about to text you, and then you're, wanting me to talk.
Right.
back,
No.
so
Yeah.
it's like, well, all
Yep.
right.
No.
So
Yep.
thought I had more time.
I was in it. I'm sorry. All right,
You're good.
guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody that is still here. This has been Old for Gold, Irrational Radio. We do this every Monday at 9:30 to midnight, sometimes a little over if I lose track of time in the middle of role playing old orc ladies. So yeah, tune in as we continue to delve the secrets of the Meeshan Desert. We also have a stream on Thursdays at 10 o'clock. Or no, 10:30 on Thursdays, CST. That where it's Table 13, which we go over a bunch of role-playing topics. We've been going through Tasha's Cauldron. Last week we talked about how to make sessions and campaigns hold attention of role players. So check that out. It'll be on YouTube in a few months because we've got a backlog. But you can still check it out on our Twitch page, at least until it expires, I believe.
It'll still be up there on the VOD.
Okay, yeah.
You just gotta have to go through the highlights and stuff to find it. Once, once it's out of the recent broadcast.
So check that out. We've got a new stream that's going to come up probably near the end of March. It is a continuation of our podcast that has been completed. It's a 2-season podcast. You can check that out at Podbean or anywhere else that you find podcasts. If you found this entertaining and you enjoyed us, we have a Discord where we do silly stuff like this all the time with equally silly and creative and intelligent people. So check us out if you'd like to join and take part in the silliness. If you really like us, like a whole bunch, you can throw us a couple of bucks on Patreon. It goes towards making these streams better, buying silly costumes, buying green screens so I can look like I'm actually in a dungeon, which is really nice. And all sorts of stuff. Thank you for your support from those who are watching and have donated. It makes it all worthwhile. It is amazing to see the support that we got. So thank you very much, guys. I didn't forget anything, did I? That's everything, right?
Not that I'm thinking of. I'm sure we'll realize afterward, but I can't. I think you're good.
Cool.
I'll buy stuff on the website.
That's right. We have a website, irrationalrad.io, with a merchandise store. I am getting the new t-shirts set up. Those should be up anytime. So buy a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or
There isn't a maroon one like my hat. I'll be very upset.
Yes, he will be. He's going to be very upset.
To punch this one
has red on it.
Punching. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being here, taking part, and we will see you on Thursday for Table 13. Goodbye.